Didn't see that. I know you're thinking. I know you're thinking. Money in the bank. He's got gas in the tank, you know what I mean? That's right, you're looking at the man. Now, I'm something you could never be. Hello. Hello indeed. Indubitably. Just sending out links, people. I'll get these links set up and I'll pull up the chat and give those if it. Right. Links sent out there. Do one on VK. Yeah. I think that will. Right. Oh, look at that. The live chat's up. Listen, big thank you to Diamond Dan. He's fucking Diamond who's helped me out tonight. Get this going. We're a little bit late, but that's because we was getting things perfect. He's a perfectionist, so can't blame him. Hello, Frederick Price. What's happening, Muckham? Angela, how you going? Richard Lowe. What's happening, dude? Got the pipe tonight because no Sherlock Holmes. Eric J. McNaughton, what's going on? Ollie Mack. Hi, Chantel. Hello, darling. Hey, what's happening? So, I go live. Got the link. I think that's everyone. Yeah. So yeah, big thank you to Diamond Dan. He's the best. Hey, what's happening, Leon? How you going? What's happening, Timbo? So tonight is going to be an interesting one because I'm doing it all about and dedicated to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, true British pioneer, writing and just in general a good man, good scientist, good doctor for his time, a real pioneer. Scripture. I think this country has produced the best writing. Deserves it. Said I was going to start doing for that. The importance. Done. All the fuel you'll ever need. Yeah, my missus is okay. She's on the mend. Thank you for asking. Well, a lot better than your NHS. Look at this screen. Then it look better, people. Then it look better. I am smoking, as it's night, Peterson, Sherlock Holmes, tobacco. Really floral, really sweet smelling, really floral. And it would have been smoked. This particular blend would have been smoked in 1880, roughly the time Sherlock Holmes would have been around. I thought it was fitting, a fitting setting. Also using an inkwell around the same period. Ashtray. Fucking dude, how are we going? Make sure do us a favour, people, while we've got a bit of time before I get really into it. If you could, if you're feeling up to it, just give this a share tonight. Get as many people on as we can because I really want to push this. He was a fucking great guy, Conan Doyle. So I think he deserves to be. His story deserves to be. While you're doing that, show you something I made. I actually made my own pipe. Good friend of mine, street soldier. Hope you can see it properly. Hold it by the stem. That's from Spanish olive. Look at the grain. Look at the pattern. It's unbelievable. And I had a smoke out of it today to test it out, and I am quite pleased with myself on that. I think it came out really nice. I've got a mate in a guitar shop. Gave me some Spanish olive. Can't use guitars because he has to take the centre out. These parts are wasted. And I said to him, I make knives, some pipes and stuff like that. I'm not as good as you as a craftsman. And he went, oh, I've got something for you. And then handed me a load of them. And I was like, sure, mate, do you want money for them? And he's like, nah, I want to know they've gone to a good home and that people are going to, someone's going to get some use out of them. So, sweet, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Oh, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Wait till it gets to about 30 people and it's really interesting studying it all. Everyone give a big shout out and a thank you to Dan for getting tricky. I'm good at this sort. So anyway, yeah, it is one of a kind. Never get the same grain again. They're as rare as fingerprints. Yeah, you like what I did there, see? Hmm. Hmm. Oh, how's everyone been during this Rona period? Been terrible. Uh, Hospital's dead. Like, I couldn't even go in there and visit missus. I had to take the stuff up and hand it to a nurse. They took it up for her. Bit weird. Very can't. Nice. Anyway, right. Without further ado, I'll just get on with it. So, I'd like to introduce you all, in case you don't know who it is, which most of you probably do, is Sir Arthur Ignatius Conan Doyle, ASJDL. He was born on the 22nd of May, 1859, and died on the 7th of July, 1930. He was a British writer and a medical doctor. He created the character that we all love, all know, Sherlock Holmes. The book that got Sherlock Holmes known to the public, the Study in Scarlet, first of 4 novels, more than 50 short stories about Holmes. And Dr. Watson was, lack of a better word, bumbling sidekick. Sherlock was a genius. And the Sherlock Holmes stories are generally considered milestones in the field of crime and fiction. They're the benchmark. Now, if anyone writes a crime story or a crime fiction compared to Sherlock Holmes, always the gold standard benchmark one you go to. Everything else is compared to. So Doyle was a prolific writer. Other than Holmes stories, his works included fantasy, science fiction stories about Professor Challenger. I didn't know that. There you go. Okay. And humorous stories about Napoleonic soldier Brigadier Gerard, as well as plays, romances, poetry, non-fiction, and historic novels. One of Doyle's early short stories, J. Habakkuk Jefferson's Statement. J. Habakkuk Jefferson's Statement, 1880, helped to polarize the mystery of the Mary Celeste. In that, for a word of the Mary Celeste. Good tobacco, by the way. I actually, not for everyone, but it's quite sure. Oh, anyway, as I said, Doyle was born on the 22nd of May, 1850. 11 Piccadilly Place in Edinburgh, Scotland. He was a jock. He was a sweaty sock, but he couldn't say burglar alarm. Burglar alarm. And his father, Charles Altamont Doyle, was English of Irish Catholic descent, and his mother, Mary, was Irish Catholic. So, he had quite a strained relationship with his mother and his. Anyway, let me ask everyone, who knows in the comments where Sherlock Holmes lived? Character. Whacking my sound up and putting it up. Is that better? Is that better? Evening, Danny Byrne. As always, Danny Byrne. Hello, Spike Lawson. Okay, Karen. What's happening? John Connor. What's happening? Sound any better now? Yeah. He did live in Baker Street. He did live in Baker Street. But what number Baker Street? No Googling. No Googling. Come on. It's better sound-wise, yeah? There we go. Come on, I know he lived in Baker Street, but I want specifics. Come on. With Sherlock Holmes here, you've got to be like a detective. Be like a fucking detective, you know? No, it wasn't 57B Baker Street. 22B, no. You're getting there. You're getting there. 69. I like 69. Evening Red Dog. It weren't number 8 either. No. You're getting there. 1690. No. No Googling. Right. That's enough guessing. I've got to get on with the story. It was 221B Baker Street. 221B Baker Street. And Sherlock smoked strong shag tobacco from a pipe and also diluted himself with a 7.5% cocaine solution and played the violin to be thinking in his headquarters. Okay, he had a headquarters. That was his little spot. He'd sit there and he'd ponder and he'd try and figure out whatever case he was working at the time. It was 221B Baker Street. And anyway, he wore an Inverness cape and a deerstalker hat, but they wasn't anything to do with Arthur Conan Doyle. They was introduced by his illustrator, Sidney Paget, was the one who actually come up with the garments he used to wear, and the distinct look that's known worldwide now. Everyone knows, if you see a picture of that particular cape and that hat and a pipe hanging out of his mouth, that's Sherlock Holmes, right? Everyone knows it. It's universally recognised, even to this day, over 100 years on. And he was called in by governments to solve crimes that the police just had no clue on how to deal with. They were, clueless, and good old Sherlock would come in and I deduce, he'd do his thing. Okay, he was a dab hand at ciphering codes. He wrote monographs of different types of cigar ash, shit like that. He'd look at flyers and know that fly was there, so it'd only be from this certain part of the, stuff like that. It would be dirt on someone's boots, and he'd know that dirt is from. So he must have walked across this particular part of land, stuff like that. He was, a real fucking thing with detective work, right? Now this actually influenced real police forces around the world at the time. They would use his techniques, and they were just written in stories. So Arthur Conan Doyle was a pretty smart bastard, and I'll get to that in a bit. But he had no romantic attachments, but he was always the perfect gentleman. Okay, he was never with a bird in any of the books or anything like that. Never, but he was always a perfect gentleman, which is important. Almost speaks of Mr. Conan Doyle himself, So, if you actually go to Baker Street to this day, there is the only Sherlock Holmes museum, and in that museum it has a perfect reconstruction of what Sherlock Holmes' headquarters would have looked like. It's actually quite cool. You can go there. Once all this corona is over, you can go to 221 Baker Street and you'll find it, the Sherlock Holmes Museum, and it's full of you can buy pipes, you can buy all these sort of Sherlock Holmes trinkets and whatnot. It's really cool. I was down there the other day when I went to Paul Golding's trial with Tommy and that, and I had to walk past Baker Street, and I was like, oh, fantastic. So I had a little look in the window, took some pictures. It was nice. So anyway, even though he's a totally fictional character, he has a museum. That's weird, right? He wasn't really there, but yet he's got a fucking museum. And people to this day, still write Sherlock Holmes letters to 221 Baker Street, asking him for help solving crimes and stuff like that. To this day, this is genuine truth. But there are people that actually reply to them. They're like some firm that works there, and they actually reply to these people, giving them advice and stuff like that. I swear down. And these letters are addressed to Sherlock Holmes, so they know, all right, let's open it up, let's see what the case is. And they do that to this day. To this day. Which is absolutely incredible. I was quite surprised. I was watching a documentary today. I was like, what? People actually want for fucking help. And yeah, it's mad. Now, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's original plan was to put Sherlock Holmes in a made-up address. So he exaggerated the numbers. Back then, there wasn't a 221B Baker Street. It only went to 21, and he was going to use 21 as the number, but a family lived there, so he thought, I ain't going to do that, you know, in case weird people start turning up or anything like that. So he always exaggerated the numbers. But London at the same time was the biggest city in the world, like in terms of money. Like London was New York of back then. It was the Industrial Revolution, all that stuff like that. So it was massive. So he exaggerated the numbers, but then London expanded, and then there actually was by the 1930s a 221B Baker Street. He couldn't have known that was going to happen, but it did. So he yeah, that's you know, it inevitably became a real address. The way Arthur Conan Doyle used to come up with stories is he would build a case. He would find little pieces of evidence, like make them up in his head, like, you know, this is what happened. Someone was murdered, but then they found this, and he would make up at least 100 different clues, and then build a story around that, you know, to make these compelling stories that they was. How he solved it and stuff like that, and then build up all the monologue around it, which I thought was interesting. You know, he didn't just think this stuff up. This would make it. He'd build up the case and then make it that way, almost working backwards in a sense, which I thought was double. It shows you how smart he was. A very, very smart man. So yeah, Arthur was born into the ruling classes. He was not very rich as a young lad. He was brought up on quite a rough estate in Edinburgh, and he was born. He was a Catholic and was educated in Lancashire at Stony House by the I think I'm saying this right, Jesuits, whose name has become synonymous with subtle intellectual debate. The Jesuits. There you go, Jesuits. It was there that he started to wonder about his faith, because he was more scientifically based in the mind, but he always kept his strong Catholic beliefs. Always kept them up until his later life. Like, he never questioned that. So the people that, what basically the Jesuits was they brought up kids in these institutes, and they were to go on to become priests and stuff like that. So they never really questioned him on it, because they always knew that he was still a Catholic, even though he was inquisitive. And, you know, to him, bread and wine was just bread and wine, you know, unless it was proved otherwise. So he was always a little smart git, but he never strayed too far away from his religious beliefs. And it was this like that. Although he was very serious about it. The Jesuits and the school were a massive influence on his stories, and you can tell that by the Hound of Baskerville story, for an example. Stonyhurst is one of the most isolated schools in the country. Like, there's nothing around. It's just this school, and then a chapel, a few stables and stuff like that. And when visitors to the school would turn up, they would keep their dogs like if they were hunters or they had dogs, they would keep them in these stables with the horses. And in the night, you'd hear the dogs howling and kicking off and stuff like that. And where the school where he would have been staying was situated, the stables were a little bit away, but you could hear the howls over the meadows. And that's, obviously where he got the idea for the Hound of Baskervilles, which is one of his better ones. I think it is the most famous Sherlock Holmes story, to be fair. Even if you go to the tube station at Baker Street, to this day, all along the tube in Baker Street is painted with Sherlock Holmes stories and like depictions of the stories and stuff like that. It's quite cool. It's really good. I love going there. Absolutely love going to Baker Street Station, because you come out and there's a great big statue of Sherlock Holmes. There's all pubs all named after things, it's all Sherlock Holmes. It's massive. I can't believe how big it is. It honestly is. It's such a worldwide thing, and all thanks to Arthur, Sir Arthur, I should say. And yeah, definitely had like that. Living there and being in that kind of school definitely influenced him massively. And he also got his one of his arch villains for Sherlock Holmes was Moriarty. And Moriarty, they've actually got pictures of the kid he named Moriarty after. And there was 2 Moriartys in the school. And there's one photograph that's actually got the names written on the back of the photograph, and Moriarty's in there. So whoever this Moriarty was, or out of the 2, they're in this picture, but they don't know which kid it is. They just know that he is in this picture, and there's like, I don't know, 10, 15 kids in this photo, and Arthur's in there, and this one of these Moriartys, so it's one of them, one of the kids in the photo. So we're just not sure who. Haven't confirmed it, which I thought was fucking quite funny. Poor kid, you know what I mean? He might have been a right nice kid, but Sir Arthur Conan Doyle just didn't get on with him or something. Who knows why he named him after him? There must be a reason for it. But yeah, Stonyhurst was a very strict school. You only got 6 weeks off a year and Christmas. That was it. 6 weeks at home and then Christmas, and that was it. You were there for the rest of the time. But apparently this was on request of his mother, because his mother wanted to keep him away from his father. I already told you his father was English, of Irish descent. But his father was an artist who loved fantasy. Like, he was a real fantasist, and he actually designed a fountain for Queen Victoria at a place called Holyrood Palace in Edinburgh. Don't know if anyone's been there. Maybe you have heard of it or have been there. Which should have been like the beginning of his success. He should have strived to do well after this. That's a massive thing. To design a fountain for Queen Victoria back then was, that was a massive step in your career. But he threw it all away. He was a drunk. He was a drunk and had epilepsy and was a bit of a nutcase, by all accounts. Not by Arthur's account though. He never spoke of it. Never touched on it and anything like that. But they reckon in his books, some of the violence that Sherlock Holmes was involved in, and there's some points in the books where him and Watson, he upsets Watson by digging a bit too deep, stuff like that, and you can tell that it's influenced probably by his father. And yeah, he started out life. Arthur started out life in Edinburgh. Number 3, Scenes Hill Place. One of 10 children, but only 7 that made it to adulthood or otherwise. There's a few kids that died. So he lost some siblings, which is always sad. And his dad was an alcoholic and epileptic, and occasionally violent. But even if you read Arthur's biography, he never mentions that his dad was violent or anything like that. He never brings it up. So he kept his cards close to his chest, obviously. But you know, like I said, you can tell there's certain things they can point out in these books where it's like it wouldn't have been something you'd just think up on your own. He's obviously speaking about his father, you know, in the books, in certain scenes and stuff like that. So, is what it is. So, like I said earlier, he grew up in a rough neighbourhood in Scotland, so violence was quite a regular thing, and there's even a story of him blackening the eye of one of the kids in the street that got a bit lippy to him, and Arthur went bang, smacked him up. Which, as you do, you know, I don't see that as unusual, but apparently it was for some people when he sort of got more famous and sort of got himself well established as a man of wealth and power through the success of his books and other ventures. But yeah, he grew up in pretty poverty at the start of his life. He soon turned around, and that's why he probably got Sherlock Holmes into all them martial arts, them Victorian martial arts. Like, it's these before the days of judo, karate, anything like that. There was like different hand-to-hand combats they had. I can't remember the names of them off the top of my head, but yeah. And he even took influence from his own life quite a lot, and even took influence from his mother, Mary Doyle, who actually gave him the inspiration for a story called The Copper Beeches, and it was about her tragic marriage to Charles, from what they can deduce, as they say. And then they moved house. They moved house from there to George Square in Edinburgh. So it's a better house, nicer house. And then Charles, the dad, was committed to an insane asylum, which is an odd story. It's a really odd story. No one quite knows exactly what went on. And this wasn't known until 1978. This was kept quite a secret. Okay, because when they committed his dad to the insane asylum, it was on the word of two people, one of them being Arthur Conan Doyle, and the other being a Brian Charles Waller, who actually paid the rent on this new house. That's an odd one, isn't it? Could it have been an affair with the mother? They don't know. They're not quite sure, but there's been some speculation. Because once it had reached 1978, and I think his life become public record or something like that. Like I said, he kept his cards close to his chest, and it was a bit of an author investigator type dude that looked into it. Detective Scholar did some research. The father got rather jealous of the relationship between Brian and Mary, so that's that guy and the mother, and who that Brian actually gave Arthur Conan Doyle's mother a cottage on his estate, which just leads more to the suspicion. But the speculation is that he wasn't actually interested in the mother. He was actually interested in Arthur Conan Doyle's older sister, but she didn't return the interest. She actually fucked off to Portugal a little while after that, so he's gutted, giving a house away and all that business, you know what I mean, flashing his cash about. Yeah, babe, look what I've done for your mum. Do you fancy a bit of me? She never did. She fucked off. So when they're not sure whether it was the sister or the mother or something had gone on, but Arthur never said anything, so there you go. But he did have his dad committed, which is a mad one. You know, how bad must he have been, you know, for your own son to commit you to a mental asylum? They weren't the nicest of places back then, believe me. They're not the nicest of places nowadays. Even the old folks' homes. I see a video the other day, absolutely disgusted me, but I won't go into that. We'll talk about that later. So anyway, she pissed off. His sister pissed off to Portugal. A lot of Arthur's stories. A lot of Arthur's stories were based on his dad, but he didn't. He never went. You know, he never said they're about his dad. But you could. A lot of these Sherlockians, as they're called. They're called Sherlockians. These people that study Sherlock. You know, like I had the ripperologist Paul Golding on my show. A lot of these groups give themselves names, and these people are Sherlockians. I think you got Whovians, didn't you? Doctor Who fans and stuff like that. I think it's the same sort of thing, right? They all say, yeah, a lot of what Sherlock wrote about in his, a lot of what Conan Doyle wrote about in his books were kind of like an ode to his old man in one way or the other. But not in that sense that he is directly writing about his dad. I think it's just when things affect you in your life, you write about them, and they're the first things that come to your mind. So that's every writer's kind of like that in some of that. But once Doyle left Stonyhurst, the school, he read medicine at the Edinburgh University and went to the Royal Infirmary in Edinburgh. For a short while, he was the outpatient clerk to the then Professor of Surgery, Dr. Joseph Bell. And Dr. Joseph Bell is a very, very important person in Conan Doyle's life. He was a bit of an eccentric kind of guy. He was a bit nuts. He used to make patients very uncomfortable. And he didn't mean to, but he would just point out things on them, right? For an example, Conan Doyle recalls a patient coming in, sitting on the bed, and the doctor sort of, did you enjoy your walk across so-and-so land this morning? And they'd be like, what? How do you know that? Like, and he'd be like, oh, I know things. So they'd think he was a creep, like fucking watching him. Like they'd be, even Conan Doyle was a bit like, what's he talking about? And, you know, once he'd seen the patient and as they're on their way off, he'd ask him, you know, how did you know that the person had been, did you not notice the red stones in the grooves of his shoes? They can only be from this place. So that's where he got the inspiration for Sherlock Holmes doing these weird things, knowing things. Like if Dr. Watson had been somewhere, Sherlock would say, I can tell by the stain on your jacket that you walked through so-and-so place in London. So he'd make London feel, for the reader, a lot smaller than what it was, because it's okay, you know, this big dangerous city where there's so many people, so much going on, but someone knows everything about every little detail and stuff like that. And that's where he got a lot of his inspiration from this Dr. Bell, who he worked under. And he would do mad things like that, you know. He was an absolutely extraordinary teacher, but he taught his students, right, that observation was all important. When you're trying to diagnose a patient, you must observe everything. You know, look at what's wrong with them, their eyes, whether it's, you know, in order to understand the illness, you have to be able to see the signs of it. That's what he practiced and taught, you know, in his lectures, and when he was seeing to patients, he'd teach the students that you observe, and then you can learn what's wrong with them, even down to their race, the clothes they're wearing, so you can sort of know where they've come from, so what it could possibly be. You know, if you're from India or somewhere like that, there's a good chance you have TB or whatever. I'm not a doctor, so I wouldn't know, but he would know that if they're from there, then there's a real bad case of syphilis or hepatitis or something like that, you know. That's what this doctor would teach him. Listen, look at the person, observe the person, see where they're from. If they're a grubby kind of woman, then she's probably got an STD because she's, probably has to work the game. Such was the times, back then. Is it a sailor? He's probably got an STD because of the times. It's, that's where, Arthur Conan Doyle got a lot of the ideas for Sherlock Holmes, observe and learn, and that's where he got all them. He was very influenced by his environment. And he one of the tricks this Bell used to do to his students was he'd put a bowl of acid on the table, and he would say, this is the bowl, dip his finger in like that, nick it, and then say, right, now you do it. But did anyone catch what I did there? Because if you didn't catch it, I'm going to explain it now. This is what he used to do. Dip this finger in, and then when he goes to suck it, changes the finger. It does it quickly to teach the students to observe. Watch what I'm doing. Every movement is important. So they'd go to do it. I didn't actually put the acid in my mouth. So the observation used to do little tricks like that, and he's quite a mad dude, quite a mad guy, but a good guy, a good teacher by all accounts. And you can actually look him up. He's got a quite interesting story as well, but I ain't got time to go in that tonight. But 1800s medicine was pretty gruesome. It wasn't like it is today, anesthetics, antibiotics and stuff like that. It was a lot of that limb's gone green, we're going to have to saw it off later, and hopefully you'll be okay. Here's some gin. Let's get on with this. This is what it was like. It was brutal, and he was he in Conan Doyle's writing, you can tell that it's, from that time, because I think one of Watson's first meetings with Sherlock Holmes, he's actually beating a cadaver, like a dead body, with a stick to see if the body will bruise after death. Because if you know anything about that, bodies don't bruise once they're dead. Like once a person has stopped breathing, the heart stopped beating, you can do what you like to the body, it will no longer bruise. So bruises only occur before they're dead. So that's how a lot of these forensic scientists and detectives can tell if someone has been brutalized before their death. And which is probably why, Jack the Ripper got away with, walking down the street after he'd done his deeds, because he'd strangle the women first, then mutilate the corpses. So once you're dead and your heart's not beating anymore, the blood doesn't spray anymore. Thank you, Paul Golding. He gave me that tip. So that's probably how Jack the Ripper got away with, doing it and then walking through the streets of London after he'd done it, even though it was dark. But yeah, Arthur Conan Doyle was. His books were that good, they actually used a lot of his techniques in police work, like I said earlier. But he himself was actually called in to do some investigations himself. Right, let me grab a drink and I'll tell you about this. So, 1 second, people. It's quite interesting as it goes. Yeah, he was called in to do some investigations himself, even though he wasn't, a lawman of such. He was that good. There was a case where horse trainers, horse racing, even to this day, horse racing is still massive in this country, and other countries alike. It's a huge deal. But along with big sports, you get a lot of corruption and a lot of dirty tactics going on. And horse racing was no different. Now, this horse trainer was found dead in the stables of a rival's horse. Now they were all suspecting that, you know, it's these trainers have obviously killed a rival trainer and tried to dump him in the stable. But that wasn't the case, and I think Arthur Conan Doyle was sitting there reading the paper one day and read this story that someone was, you know, going to get sent away for life. So he was like, "What? I'm not having this. This doesn't make any sense." So he fucking got involved, got invited there, went down there. I think it was in Glasgow, if I remember rightly. It was Glasgow. Went down there to investigate and actually got the case solved. It wasn't that these particular people had killed a rival trainer and dumped him in their own stables. No, that little dirty bastard was there to sabotage the horse. He found a tiny little medical grade blade, right? It was a medic's blade, and also in his pocket was some sort of bill from another stable, and that it wasn't he'd been beaten to death and left there. He was actually killed by a horse. He had a hoof print on him. Now he's obviously gone to fuck with the horse, cut the horse's tendons so that it would guarantee his stable the win. Horse ain't having none of it. Bang! You get kicked by an horse, poof, you're dead. Horses kill other horses by kicking them, let alone a human being. You get kicked in the solar plexus or the head by a horse, good chance you're dead. I think their kicks are at like 57 kilometers per hour or something like that. Someone fact check me. So Arthur Conan Doyle actually got involved in that one, and that wasn't the only one either. He actually got involved in another case where it was a small town somewhere, like a small farming type village, where I think actually Martin Clunes, the guy from Men Behaving Badly, actually played him in a TV series. He actually played Arthur Conan Doyle, and you can actually watch this case. Basically, this whole village was blaming this Indian family and this Indian boy who was quite a bit like backwards type thing. Sorry to say it like that, but that's the way it is. He was a bit simple, so the town was kind of picking on him. He's an outsider, shouldn't, you know, in their words would have been, you know, shouldn't be here. He's a weirdo. But basically, someone was in the night disemboweling ponies, like butchering ponies around, and other farm animals and stuff like that, and they were blaming him for it because he was a bit odd, foreign. And so Arthur Conan Doyle got wind of this. I think they may have wrote to him and said, look, you need to, like the father wrote to him and said, look, you need to help my son prove his innocence. He didn't do this. So Arthur Conan Doyle got involved and came down and proved that not only was this boy physically scrawny and couldn't possibly have done these things, he wouldn't have been able to overpower a pony. He was too physically fucked. He wasn't, you know, he wasn't a big dude or anything like that. And not only that, he was severely myopic, so his eyes wasn't good, so he couldn't possibly have seen in the dark to go and commit these crimes and get himself back home. There was no way in the world. He just wasn't physically able to do these crimes, and I think he actually proved who did do them. Not entirely sure who, but he got the boy, you know, off of the charges, and did some good stuff, you know. And he wasn't even a detective. He was just a smart guy that believed in logic, you know, and practiced logic and done some good things, you know. He was a better man than most, to say the least. So good on ya. Here's to Arthur Conan Doyle so far. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm trying my best, but I'm not the best reader. I'm a bit, I've made notes and stuff, but trying my best. So anyway, uh, once he left the medical practice and stuff like, he moved on to other things. But he couldn't afford to open his own practice, so he started writing again. And before that, he was writing small pieces for newspapers and stuff like that, and magazines and comics and penny dreadfuls and stuff like that, and earning a few quid out of them. He did some decent stuff, but the big one that got him, really on the map, even though his previous works were really highly credited, he did get rejected, if I remember rightly. I'll have to look up this. Where was his first? I'll find it. Hang on. I did write it somewhere. I'm writing short story. Yeah, here we go. His earliest extant fiction, The Haunted Grange of Goresthorpe, was unsuccessfully submitted to Blackwood's magazine. On the 20th of September 1879, he published his first article, Glensmium as a Poison, in the British Medical Journal, a study which the Daily Telegraph regarded as potentially useful in the 21st century murder investigation. So he was doing bits and bobs, but it was the real one that gave him the boost into sort of stardom was his writing of a study in scarlet. Okay, that was the one that set him up, and during that time he also met his first wife, Louise Dalkin, during the writing of that, and years later she died of tuberculosis, sadly. But he met her because her brother, her brother was a patient of Dr. Conan Doyle's, as he would have been known then, and he had cerebral meningitis, and sadly, even though it was ill-advised, Conan Doyle gave him a drug that was supposedly, could potentially be a cure, even though a lot of the other the people in medicine were advising against it, and he actually died in his 20s, this kid. And there has been speculation that he married her out of sort of not pity, but guilt. He felt guilty, so he married her, and she had a better life. He for the time he was very rich, very wealthy. Gave her a nice house. She couldn't have had a better life, and then she eventually died of tuberculosis. And the following year, he remarried to his final wife, which was Jean Leckie, which is, that was how it was back then. Your wife, people died all the time. It wasn't like it is nowadays, where people live a lot longer and far less people die. There was medical complications galore back then. You were lucky. I think that the main the highest number of deaths was died at childbirth. Most people died at childbirth back then, and right up until the 1900s, when we advanced in medicine. Medicine has been a massive advancement in the human race. We're doing far better now than we ever did throughout history, no question. And he was an old-fashioned, honourable man. When he made a decision, he stuck to it. He made a decision, he was sticking to it. That's it. I've made my decision. And he even inspired French police, who of the time were leading the way in forensic science at the time. They were, you know, the French police were #1 when it came to forensic science of the time. You know, 1800s to 1900s. But it was the British in Bengal, in 1897 that came up with a fingerprint. Remember that the British came up with a fingerprint as evidence in Bengal. After that scarlet bit of writing he did, he started selling his stories to the Strand, which was a massive magazine back then. So he did a bit of writing for the Strand, and the Strand, every time they would publish a Sherlock Holmes story in their magazine shot up by 100,000 sales. That's a lot of units for the day. Hell of a lot of units. So him being a fucking savvy geezer, a slippery jock, he bought shares in the Strand. So he was earning, not just for writing that, but any time they sold a magazine, he would earn off of that as well. So he made a mint. He made an absolute fortune. Fucking genius. You know. Good for you, Sir Arthur. And yeah. So I'm going to go through some of the facts of his life here. Because in 1882, Doyle partnered with his former classmate, George Turnervine Budd, in a medical practice in Plymouth. He did live in Plymouth for a period. But their relationship proved difficult, and Doyle soon left to set up an independent practice, arriving in Portsmouth in June 1882. With less than £10 to his name, that was £1,000 in today's standards, to his name, he set up a medical practice at One Bush Villas in Elm Grove, Southsea. The practice was not successful. While waiting for patient, Doyle returned to writing fiction. Okay. Doyle also played football for Portsmouth as a goalkeeper. There you go. He played football as well. He was quite a sporting man. He was quite a sporting man. He was a cricketer. Between 1899 and 1907, he played 10 first-class matches for Marylebone Cricket Club. He also played amateur cricket for amateur cricket teams in the Allah Akbaris. There you go. Allah Akbaris and the Authors 10, alongside fellow writers J.M.P. Barrie and P.G. Wodehouse. And you know, Arthur Conan Doyle actually met and was quite pally with Oscar Wilde. Him and Oscar Wilde were called randomly to the same meeting with an American investor to have a bit of dinner, a bit of tea, and sit there and have a chat. And Oscar Wilde was very flamboyant for the day. You know, he was a homosexual, even though he had a wife and stuff like that. But he was larger than life, a larger than life character. And he actually met Arthur Conan Doyle, and Arthur Conan Doyle, being a sporting man and stuff like that, you'd think he wouldn't, but they actually hit it off really well, and they had a right laugh, a right giggle. So there you go. There's a little factoid for you. Doyle was an amateur boxer. In 1909, he was invited to referee the James Jeffries and Jack Johnson heavyweight championship fight in Reno, Nevada. Doyle wrote, "I was much inclined to accept, though my friend pictured me as winding up with a revolver at one ear and a razor at the other. However, the distance and my engagement presented a final bar." There you go. He was also a golfer. He was married twice, but he fathered 5 children. He had 2 with his first wife, Mary Louise, and Arthur Aileen Kingsley, known as Kingsley. He had an additional 3 with his second wife, Dennis Percy Stewart, who became the second husband of Georgian Princess Nina Medina. Adrian Malcolm, 1910 to 19... What's this about? Oh, right, okay. These are his kids. Jean Lena Annette, 1912 to 1997. She died in 97. All of Doyle's 5 children died without issue, so he has no direct descendants as we speak. He stood for Parliament twice as a Liberal Unionist, in 1900 in Edinburgh Central and in 1906 in the Hawkin Burghs. He received a respectable share of the vote but was not elected. He served as Deputy Lieutenant of Surrey beginning in 1902 and was appointed a Knight of the Grace of the Order of the Hospital of St. John of Jerusalem in 1903. Doyle was a supporter of the campaign for the reform of the Congo Free State that was led by the journalist Edie Morel and diplomat Roger Casement. In 1909 he wrote The Crime of the Congo, a long pamphlet in which he denounced the horrors of the colony. He became acquainted with Morel as a casemate, and it is possible that together with Bertram Fletcher Robinson they inspired several characters that appear in his 1912 novel The Lost World. Later, after the Easter Rising, Casement was found guilty of treason against the Crown and was sentenced to death. Doyle tried unsuccessfully to save him, arguing that Casement had been driven mad, therefore should not be held responsible for his actions. There's a few factoids about him. And Sir Arthur Conan Doyle died on the 7th of July 1930. But before he died, in his later life, he converted to spiritualism and was a real advocate for like telepathic and what do they call it? Like a medium, you know, talking to the dead and spiritual stuff. And there's he's still a part of some society of British telepathic people and stuff like that. And he was very outspoken about it. It's a bit weird because, you know, a man of logic like that, I wouldn't have thought would have gone for any of that business. I thought that would have been well beneath him or whatever, you know. But he was bang on all that. He was R.I.P. Simon Harris, a fellow East Midland lad. Hello APW, what's going on, dude? You good? So I'm sure whoever's listening and watching, you'll join me in a toast to a true great Brit, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes. And a good man. A good man. Always tried to do the right thing and stand by his word. You can't ask for more than that, can you? Yeah. Good to hear it. Good to hear it, ABW. Good man. Just went through the story of Arthur Conan Doyle. Anyone got any questions on that? You know, chuck them in. Where I've got his life in and all that there. I made some notes today. He's a really interesting guy. The stuff he pioneered was, you know, second to none when it came to the old criminal stuff. Gotta have a pipe, haven't I? Gotta have a pipe. And not only that, ABW, Sherlock Holmes pipe tobacco. Indubitably. I deduce. I want to point at someone. I always wanted to point at someone. Now I'm pointing at you, ABW. I'm pointing at you with my pipe. See you, I want to tell you something. I don't know what I want to tell you, but I'm going to tell you something. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Danny Byrne. We've learned something new today. We learned something new about the great Arthur Conan Doyle. Where was he buried? I do know where he was buried, actually. I'm sure I got that up earlier. Where is it? Yeah. Because his medical career was quite good, actually, as well, and justice advocate. He was architecture. He was involved in design when he commissioned an architect friend of his, Joseph Henry Ball, to build him a home. Honours, and here we go. He was a spiritualist, so he was buried once, but then was what have I done here? Let's get rid of that. Sorry. He was buried once, but then they dug him up and then reburied him. So Doyle was found clutching his chest in the hall of Winston Manor. His house in Crowborough, East Sussex, was where he died. He died of a heart attack, aged 71, so not a bad innings. His last words were directed towards his wife, "You are wonderful." That was his last words, "You are wonderful." What a man. At the time of his death, there was some controversy considering his burial place, as he was avowedly not a Christian, considering himself a spiritualist. He was first buried on the 11th of July in 1930 in Winslow Rose Garden. He was later reinterred together with his wife in Minstead Churchyard, New Forest, Hampshire. That's where he is now. And his gravestone is right there. He's in Minstead, Hampshire. Not Minstead, Minstead in Hampshire. He was a great man. I mean, I've only given you a brief history on him. That's not the full story. I mean, go and get his biography. Go and get his books, the Sherlock Holmes stories. I'm going to download a few tonight so I can read them all again. They're some of the best writing ever. Oh, I thought that was snuff earlier today. No, it ain't snuff. No, not buried in Highgate. And thank you everyone. It's a good brief history. Yeah, it is a brief. It is very brief. Mr. Tay Haggis. He's a fellow jock. Mr. Arthur Conan Doyle. I tried my best with him. But sorry. I'm really enjoying puffing on this pipe. I'm the snuff. They call me Papa Snuff. Not Papa Smurf, Papa Snuff. Thank you, Sky Chantel. Thank you. Never mind, Spawn of Wessex. Don't worry. Don't you worry. But like I said, I suggest you all go and look him up. Go and find out about Arthur Conan Doyle. Watch some YouTube documentaries or read up on him. Fantastic. Honestly is. Yeah, Red Dog has the power to ban you. He can't come on here and slag off the king. Timothy Ross, what's going on? When did he meet Holmes? He created Holmes, didn't he? He created Holmes based on a few different characters. A little bit about himself, a little bit about his teacher, Joseph Bell, and a little bit on his dad. a little bit on his dad, supposedly. Yep, he did. Apparently he had extrasensory perception, did Sir Arthur. Yeah, he liked a cigar. He did like a cigar. I know that much about him. He did like a cigar. He was a bit like me in that sense. He liked a whiskey. Loved a whiskey. Bit like me. Think I might be the new Sir Arthur, you know. Reincarnated. Who fucking knows? There ain't nothing on my forehead. There ain't nothing on my forehead. Don't try that. Oh yeah. He went to an opium den. Yeah. I think he liked a bit of that and all. It's some amazing story. I think they did 4 books, didn't they? And then there's a load of short stories as well. But Sir Arthur hung up the gloves, as they say, when it came to writing. They was asking him to do some more Sherlock Holmes stories and stuff like that, and he said, "No, I'm not into it anymore." There is, brother. What is on my forehead? Ain't nothing on my forehead. Oh, there's a spot, isn't there? No, hang on. Where's my little mate? There. Little spot there. I think it's a spotter on that bite. I ain't sure. But, Right, so now, people. Now what do I do? Talk about Trump. I heard there's some troubles with America and China at the minute. That's the other thing I was going to do. Hello, Churchill. What's going on? How you doing? A third eye. Yeah. My cousin rang me the other. Oh, by the way, I'm officially back to work Monday. So the seal clubbing will commence on Monday. So her created the Spirit Church in Portsmouth. Yeah, there you go. That's true. Or he created the Spirit Church in Portsmouth. Yeah, he did. He did something like that. He was a real spiritualist. Have I got teenage acne? Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's all the drinking. It's all them toxins in my body. But apparently it's good for you. And I'm on the botanical cola, Curiosity Cola, Fentiman's Cola. This stuff is old school. Old school. Can't beat it. You can't beat it. It's like got fucking 4 ingredients. So it's not like Coca-Cola with about 50. This stuff's better for you. Although you shouldn't probably drink it anyway, but fuck it. Battery's going. Nice one. Catch you later, Red Dog. Top man. So, anyway, I've been a bit quiet lately. I'm sure most of you know the missus is in hospital at the minute, so I ain't been on Telegram or VK and all that. I've been a bit busy, you know, sort of looking after the kids and whatnot. She got kidney infection, nothing fucking serious, like too serious, but it fucked her up. Her temperature got to 38.7. 38.7. You know what I mean? Not good. So I ended up calling her an ambulance at 2 o'clock in the morning, saying I've had enough. It was my daughter's birthday, in case anyone's wondering why there's fucking balloons behind me. Daughter's birthday on Monday, so she's getting bigger. Bless her. She's beautiful. YouTube is biased. Hello, Antifa. Stringent measures in the room with the legend our Luke. YouTube is biased. Thank you. Appreciate that. Is that an alcoholic cola? Yes, it is an alcoholic cola. I've got a bit of JD in there. As you do. I've run out of Maker's Mark, so I'm on the JD. Nice stuff. I do like JD. I don't care what no one says. Oh, all them whiskey snobs that try and be like, oh, JD. No, JD is a really good whiskey. It's made by the same people in the same place as it always was. They've got a long history of it. They're very proud of their thing, and they make a good brew. But they are a massive company. Yes, I'll give you that. But it still doesn't mean it's not a good whiskey just because they mass produce it. They mass produce it, but using the same techniques. It's good. It's good shit. A good bourbon or bourbon. You should say it bourbon, as they do. Pepsi Max all the way. I've got to disagree there. Fentiman's pisses all over it. And there was another one I was drinking the other night, a really old cola. Some family blend cola, and it's got even less ingredients than that one. But it's still the bollocks. It's lovely. It's a lovely coke. Thank you. She will be better soon. She's doing well. She was meant to be on with me tonight, you know, so I'd have someone to sit here and back and forth with. I work a lot better when I've got someone to back and forth with. You need me to get on your podcast, Lucy, if Fonz keeps sulking. Possibly, yeah. I'd have a guest on every week, not a problem, but I just don't know how to do it. That's the trouble. That's the trouble. I'm not that good at it. I thought that was a rubber doll behind you. I might need one. The missus ain't putting out. She's making excuses about her kidneys. Apparently there's such a thing as a donkey punch. It weren't me. Trust me. Good point, Boris. Good point, Boris. Yeah, and you know what I mean? Like just being this snob. In the cigar world, we call them chooches. They're chooches, right? Now, a chooch will go in a cigar shop and demand a Cuban. I want a Cuban cigar. Yeah, like as if they're the best cigars ever, which is just a myth. It's just bollocks, right? It doesn't. Listen, Cubans make really good cigars, but communism kind of fucked them up. Okay, communism fucked the Cuban cigar. That's a fact. The way they fucked up Bacardi as well. Bacardi was a massive company in Cuba, making a lot of money, employing a lot of people. Fidel Castro got in power, so the Bacardi family fucked off somewhere else. But they're still very proud of their Cuban heritage. Okay, but they just couldn't operate. You know, being taken over by the government just wasn't going to happen, so they fucked off. Same thing with the cigar companies. A lot of the cigar companies got fucked over. And then the Americans, it was JFK, signed the embargo, which is still on. So you can't buy Cuban cigars from a retailer in America to this day because of the embargo. They were like, we're not doing business with them. But JFK, the slippery cunt, bought 2,000 Cuban cigars before he signed it. That's a fact. You can look that one up. He signed... before he signed the thing, he bought 2,000 Cuban cigars. They were really good cigars. There was pucker, but they're still good. You can buy them over here, but in America you can't get them. But the Cuban, you know, a chooch. Sorry, back to the point. A chooch will come in out. I want a Cuban cigar. I want that, you know, and then it'll be in a cellophane wrapper. So they'll take, you know, oh, it's beautiful. It's like you can't smell fuck all through the cellophane. Like, cellophane will keep your cigar humid, it absorbs moisture and keeps your cigar nice and shit like that. But don't pretend you can fuck it. You're a chooch. You're an idiot. And then they'll stand there and they'll light it, and they only light half of it. There's a certain way to light it, and you get it done right. And yeah, it's just a chooch. He's just talking shit. And that's the same with whiskies. You know, they'll turn their nose up at good old Jack. For whatever reason, I've got all different whiskies up there, nice different whiskies and stuff like that. I like them all. If a good whiskey's a good whiskey, it's a good whiskey. End of. So all this bollocks, it's got to be barrel aged for 12 years, or I won't drink it, and all this stuff. It's like, just being a cock. It'll give you a few different flavours, but is it, you know, say they'll buy a £1,000 bottle of whiskey. Is it £1,000 better than that bottle of 40 quid Jack Daniels or 30 quid Jack Daniels? It's not £1,000 better. It might be better, but it's not £1,000 better. Don't pretend. Don't pretend. bollocks. Bollocks. Talking out your arsehole. And I promise you that. I've tried all sorts of whiskies and whatnot, and JD's a good bourbon. Really good bourbon. Fuck all wrong with it. Fentimans is a great, just damn expensive, but worth it. Yeah, I agree. I'd say, you know, you can go in Tesco's and buy a £1.50 bottle of Coke, £2 bottle of Coke, or you can spend £3 on a Fentimans, and you're actually getting a better product, a better taste, and you know, when it's on offer, it's actually £2. So when it's on offer, I stock it. I get 3 or 4 bottles of it, and it's far better than Coke, like Coca-Cola or Pepsi. It is. It just tastes better, and it's more naturally a more natural cola. There's far less chemicals in it. It doesn't rot your teeth quite as bad. Nothing's better than water in terms of health and cranberry juice and things like that, but still a damn good fucking mixer, worth the money. If you're gonna buy a nice bottle of whiskey and you're gonna mix it, why don't you spend a bit more on the fucking Coke as well? Because once you water it down with Coca-Cola, kind of killed it. So why not? You know, you only live once, but I still don't recommend buying a £1,000 bottle of whiskey unless you can afford it, because you're not getting £1,000 worth better quality. You're really not. You're just paying for the history and the nostalgia and everything else that comes with it, that classy sort of thing. Yeah, I've got that. You know, what is the best cigar? There is no best cigar. There is no best cigar. It's all about your palate. If you like a cigar, that's your thing. My favourite cigar, probably at the minute, is the Alec Bradley Black Punk. I love that cigar. But then the Connecticut's good as well. The Connecticut cigar's good. They do some lovely cigars from Nicaragua. Las Invictus. Those cigars, they're blinding. Absolutely blinding. But I will say, that's close to being my favourite pipe tobacco. That's a good pipe tobacco. But I will say, Peterson do a London blend pipe tobacco. That is my favourite. 100%. That is my favourite tobacco. There's a certain smell it has. There's a certain flavour it has on your palate. Peterson's London pipe tobacco is the fucking bollocks. It really is. YouTube's biased. Luke, what do you think of VK, the new platform? Yeah, straight up. It's good. If I will ask you, YouTube is biased. You keep writing YouTube is biased. Are you trying to get my channel flagged up or something? Because you keep writing that afterwards. Or is that just your trademark? Just asking. Just being inquisitive. You know, I'm on a Sherlock Holmes flex here, so I'm going to act like a detective, yeah? You get me? Yeah. Bacardi Breezes. Yeah, they don't do them anymore, do they? I got told that the other night, Bacardi Breezes. Cookie. Yeah. They weren't my type of drink, I will say. But if you like what you like, you know what I mean? You like what you like. I love your streams. I feel like I'm chewing the fat. Poo tube, don't update me. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's what I say. Fashion, right? Fights. Yeah, exactly. You get it. That's why I say fashion fight style stays. That's right. Fashion. Yeah, straight up. I agree there. Only true whiskey is a single malt Scottish whiskey. I would love to still be drinking Scotch. Scotch was my favourite drink for years, but I get nasty on it. I get a bit aggressive on it, so I had to stop. I do like a Scotch, especially when it's brewed in brandy casks. I tried one of them the other night. It was a really strong Scotch that I got with the cigars. They gave me 2 cigars when I bought it on the website, and they gave me a Scotch with it in a little bottle with a nice proper whiskey glass. And I tried it, and it was supposed to match the cigars I was smoking for flavour, you know, like you get a flavour that complements the. And it was nice. It was brewed in brandy casks, so it had a little sweet tinge in there. It was good. It was good. It was nice, but I can't be staying on them scotches. They turn me nasty. Maybe I've changed. I don't know. I ain't drunk it in years. But I did get really horrible on it, so I had to stop. My late hubby used to like Bushmills whiskey. Yeah, Bushmills is good. I've seen that about. That's supposed to be a really good whiskey, Erica. Timothy, bourbon biscuits. Oh, bourbon biscuits, bruv. Don't start me on the bourbon biscuits. I'm on a diet. Bourbons, mate. Dipped in tea. Give it the old Italian flex. You know what I mean? In your opinion, you're best. Yeah, I said that, didn't I? Probably the Alec Bradley Black Punk. I think that's a fantastic cigar. I'm going to get myself a cigar in a minute, actually. I'm going to smoke a cigar. I've got these little ones today. These little AV ones. They're the bollocks. Coke is just all sugar. You'd think that. Real Coke isn't. It's got like orange, it's got like citrus, it's got like all different sort of things in there. But yeah, Coca-Cola, I agree. It's just sugar. Nah, bruv, trademark. Right, gotcha. No worries. Fair enough. I had to ask. I just wondered if it was one of them words that get you flagged up to get you taken off, because it's weird. I love your hair, Luke. I cut it myself. Thank you very much, Angela. My gorge. Kelly Glover, you're bare fit, bruv. I know you are. Shut your noise, woman. Kelly Glover. You're wrong. Okay, try this now. Take a sip of spirit and hold it under your tongue. Is that meant to be? Okay. Just straight spirit, yeah? Okay, hold it under my tongue. Okay, it's burning a little. That burns a bit. What's that about then? Under your tongue? You got no taste buds under there, right? It's very oaky, very bit of vanilla in there. I don't know. Luke Uncaged. Try this. Right, I've done it. Vodka does that to people, I know. Yeah, vodka can turn people nasty. It can. Just had 4, bruv, and I dipped them in a cuppa. I'm sorry. Leave them bourbon biscuits out of this. I'm on a diet. I'm doing well. Guys, most powerful drink I ever drank was moonshine. Yeah, I've had moonshine. I've had moonshine from Romania and stuff like that. The most powerful drink I ever had was absinthe. It was about 90 something %, and I was supposed to have it with water. A South African friend of mine bought me it for my 21st birthday, and me being a knob, don't worry about that, boom, and I went on a bad trip. It's a real like hallucinogenic kind of vibe. It weren't not advisable like that, drinking it like that. It was fucking lethal. My old man ended up having the rest of the bottle. He's an animal. Not that night, he drunk it over time, but yeah, it's fucking lethal gear. Didn't the Spice Girls do a nice cigar? G-Man killed it. Didn't the Spice Girls do a nice cigar? I love that jokes. I'm using that one, and I will give you credit for it. Trust me. No need for a Coke. Just try a shot of JD and 2 shot Jägermeister. Yeah, I don't just drink JD with Coke. Lately, I've been doing myself what's called the old fashioned. Because I bought myself some bitters, and now these. If anyone's played Red Dead Redemption and watched my stream last night on Wake Up UK, you'll know what I'm talking about. And these bitters are really strong. There you go. They come in like an old-fashioned bottle. If I get it on camera there. Like, look how old-fashioned it is. There's like writing all over it. It's got the old plaques and coins and stuff like that. And they are Agnostura aromatic bitters. So if you played Red Dead Redemption, you can pick these up in the game and you drink them and stuff like that. And you do a bit of sugar in the bottom of your glass. You pour the aromatic bitters on top of the sugar, give it a little stir. Then you add 2 shots of whiskey, whichever one you want, bourbon being the best. And then you get an orange peel, a match, dump a block of ice in there, and you crush the orange peel so that it sprays out the citric kind of thing while you've lit the match, and it gives like a smoke over it, and then you drop the orange peel in there for a bit of zest, and you drink an old fashioned, which is from the 1800s, originally done with gin. They moved it on to whiskies, and you have it with them, and they are 44.7% alcohol volume, but it's got like one of them lids, so it only comes out as like, you know, like a vinegar bottle. So you just, the smell, I just opened that, it smells like cola bottles, you know, like Coke bottles or cough syrup, kind of like a mix of that. And it's fucking good stuff, and old fashioned. So there's no real mixer in there, you're just having it with a bit of sugar and stuff like that. That was like the early day mixers. It does get rid of toothache. Take it back. Thank you, Kelly Glover. I hope you're well, by the way, Kelly Glover. I'll bet you're a mean bitch on vodka, Angela. Yeah, I've lost a stone. I have lost a stone. I'm only, like I said, I was on a diet, didn't I? I am only eating meat. I'm on like no carb diet, so I have like meat and veg, and that's it. And I've done a stone in about a week and a half. And I'm not on the beers anymore. If anyone's noticed, every stream I'm doing, I'm on the spirits, because they're a bit, you know, less fatty than beers. Beers are quite fatty and got a lot of carbs, a lot of calories and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why. So I'm gonna have a piss in a minute, if people will wait for me, and get myself a cigar, pour myself another drink. But I'll read a few more of these. Brandy, yeah, brandy. Brandy's good. I like a bottle of brandy. Now try brushing your teeth. No, I'm not doing that. That's gonna rot my teeth or something, isn't it? Rum and ginger, is that a thing? Yeah, I've got loads of rum up there. Mount Gay rum is my favourite rum at the minute. Mount Gay is a fantastic rum. I do drink that quite a lot. Why is this guy channel so small? The Dan. Small what? As in size, or as in people watching or people subscribed or something? Because that I can't answer, you know. I do my thing. If people like it, it's all good. If you don't, no worries as well. It's all good. We're missing Ted English. I'll have to remind him. No worries. We will happily wait. Was this guy in Tommy Robinson's gang? No. No, I've never been in Tommy Robinson's gang, dude. If you call it a gang. Right, keep an eye out, admins. I'll be back in a second. I will get my cigar and have a wee wee. You can probably still hear me, actually. Hello, I am back, and I have my cigar. Share the stream, people. Thank you. I appreciate it. Cheers, Diamond Dan. I owe it all to Diamond Dan tonight. Anyway, he's the man. Cheers to Diamond Dan. He got me up and running. We like it. Slash break. Yeah, I've got to have a piss. You know what I mean? I used to have my old brother sitting there and keeping the people strong. Oh, by the way, look at the nice label. I know it's only a small cigar, but it's got a lot of power. I've got bigger ones of these, but I only got this one a couple of days ago, so it's had time to sit there and ferment in my humidor. Let's get me cutter. There we go. And oh, it's good shit, man. Good brand of cigars. These are. So let's get this bastard lit. How are we doing anyway? Probably TR News, TR Robinson. Alert should be working now. So if you... Oh, nice one. Thank you. Top man, Dan. Yeah. White Knight, you can get away with it, man. I see more fat on a greasy chip. Geezer's like... He's a small dude, but you can see he's like ripped. You know, like Bruce Lee, yeah? You can see Bruce Lee's tiny. But he's got like them wiry muscles where it's like all tendons and shit like that. That's what White Knight is like. He's got like that, you know, that World War II body thing, like where it's like there's no fat whatsoever, but you can see that he's like got the wiry, quick shit, you know. Not gonna get exhausted, you know. He's got no weight to it, so it's like all like flexible, moving, fast, that athletic body kind of thing. Yeah. Have you been watching Active Patriot, the little veteran doing the border patrol watch? No, I haven't actually. I must have missed that. I apologise. Dark rum, an old Jamaica. Yeah, I got a really dark rum up there. Lamb's rum. Yeah, look, I'll show you. I got the Mount Gay. Which suits me, being a gay boy. But that navy rum, the dark stuff. Woo! That's some strong gear. I'll tell you that now. That's some strong gear. That really that really sets it off. I've actually done my own pipe tobacco mixture of tobacco, a few different blends of tobacco with a drop of navy rum on it. So it's like a really dark tasting, really flavourful tobacco for when I smoke the old pipe. But let's get this lit. Nearly there. Oh yeah. Now you're talking. Hmm. I'll figure out the flavour profile in a little while. You got to let it get about 2/3 in, and then you'll really pick up what flavour notes are in there, or a third in, maybe a third in, because it's only a small one. Yeah, she said. Anyway, what we saying? Yeah, dark rum and the old Jamaica. Yeah, ginger. Yeah, been watching them. Them two wannabes that joined last night, bloody plonkers. Anyone in the Nigel immigration bid. Okay, fair play. Are you describing sex or a fight? Well, isn't sex a fight anyway? Make-up sex is the best. Sorry for anyone who's not prudish. You know, it is, isn't it? You know what I mean? You have a blazing row with the missus. You're fucking in each other's faces maybe a little bit, and you and then she calms down, you calm down, you go away, you chill out, you think about what was said, and then you go bed. And then you have that, you get to let it all out. You get to let it all out. And everything just seems okay after that. That makeup sex. And you really give it to her. You let her know, I'm the daddy. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Was he talking? Was he taking talking about, yeah, to how far Bill poked it in Monica? Only 1 3/4. Hey? What happened there? Yeah, good on Nigel. Good on Nigel. I agree with that. You know, it's a bit like noodly, the flavour of that, a bit like noodles, if that makes sense. You know, like if soy, like I would say that, wouldn't I? The soy sauce, it's got like that kind of thing to it. Nice though. It is nice. I was talking about when you describe White Knight, but makeup sex works too. I think I forgot about what I was talking about. See, that's nice, man. That's so much better than fucking normal coke. I'm telling you. I wouldn't go back to it. Fuck her kidney out, bro. Yeah, I'll fuck her kidney out. Then she won't have no problems with it. You know what I mean? Just make that thing squirt out the armpit or something like that. Oh shit, she's gonna kill me. She is gonna kill me when she gets out. Might have to kill her first. You know? Diddly-lee. 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 Oh, let's get a drink down me. Alright, people. Fuck a kidney out. Evening, Spider-Man. Yes. The spiders are behind me. Can you see the tanks? I won't get them out. But I might let the praying mantis say hello. So I'll let the praying mantis say hello. Yeah, where are you? Yeah. She'll come say hello. No. Here she comes. He or she, I'm not entirely sure just yet. But look at that. This thing is the best for catching flies, getting rid of pests out of my house. You know? It just sit on my hand. Feed it a fly or something. And just sit there, chilling. No problem whatsoever. You know what I mean? You on my face? There he is. You see? It's going to get bigger than that. It'll get quite big. What way? There it goes. See? On the watch now. It's the Watchman. Right, say my right, everyone. If it's a boy, I'm going to call him Gary. Because that name's dying out. So, he will be christened Gary. And if it's a girl, I'm going to call it... What am I going to call it? I don't know. Someone think of a name if it's a girl. If it's a boy, it's Gary. There you go. Best name in the comments for the girl. I'll name it that. There she goes. Go on in. No, darling. Likes to eat spiders as well. Loves eating a spider. Loves eating a spider. Takes no prisoners whatsoever. None at all. No prisoners. Call it Rodney after Dave. Quality. Mohammed. No, I'm not calling it Mohammed. I would never be that cruel to an animal. As they say. No, I'm joking. Badass praying mantis. Any white night. How's your foot? Yeah, how is your foot, geese? Hope you're doing alright, bruv. Peter Crouch, that's actually a good name, Alan. That's actually a fucking good name. Jerry Hall. Jolene. That's a sick name. I think we got a winner. Jolene. Garrett. Is that Garrett? Diamond Dan? Is that Garrett? I don't know, dude. I don't think I remember that. Jolene I would remember. Because I love that song. Do you know who did a blinding version of Jolene? Right, I hate to say it. But Miley Cyrus. She did an acoustic version of Jolene. And it was the nuts, I've got to say. It was really good. Oh, speaking of nuts, that's quite nutty as well. That's got a nutty kind of sesame seed flavour in there. That's quite nice. What's he sorry about, Cookie? Aisha? Aisha? Is it Aisha? Aisha. I'll get you. If a girl, could you call it Diane Abbott? It's a bit skinny to be Diane Abbott, isn't it? There's not enough fat on that. Maybe if it gets really big, call it Bruce Lee. Yeah, that's quite a sick name actually as well. Yeah, I'm feeling Jolene though. That is a quality song. It is a quality song. No Mentisa. No Mentisa. How about I call it Antifa? No, I'll call its prey, the things it eats, Antifa. Hello, Antifa. Didn't see you there because the mantis set you. They're horrible though. The way they kill things, they fucking... I don't know if anyone's seen them, but they grab it and then they just chew it. So if it's from the back end, they're literally holding the thing there while they eat it. Eat it alive. There's no venom. Like a spider will inject its venom, the thing dies. These just eat it alive. Just munch it up as it's sitting there. It's quite cruel. But it's only pests in my house, like flies and stuff that shouldn't be in it. So I just chuck the flies in there and the mantis deals with them. It's great. Cool. Yes, have a listen to it. Have a listen to it, Angela. It was really good. It was really good. Auntie Antifa eater. But yeah. Anyway, I do have quite the collection. The Goliath is out now. She's out now. But I daren't move this laptop I mean, I might be able to spin it round so you could just about see it. There you go. Can you see? Yeah, look, if I put my finger there, look, see there where my finger is, right? That's the tarantula's legs. Like it's up against the tank. So it's just like there, like looking. I tried feeding it today, it didn't take the food, so it's not hungry, but it's prowling about. It is prowling about. As she does. As she does. Praying mantis cage is facing Mecca. White Stripes covered Jolene, did they? I didn't know that, Boris. There you go. There you go. I had no idea about that. I'll tell you what. I was watching some old MMA things the other day. I'm so glad I didn't get into that sport. Some fucking brutal KOs going on. But I'm glad to say MMA's back, and when the first UFC event after COVID came back, right, they got no audience there, so it's like really weird. But Donald Trump, the Don, actually gave him a message and was like, it's terrific, see the sport bag, it's terrific, doing his thing. And it was nice, the President of the United States, recognising that the sport is back. Well done, good on yous. And get that thing, because without Don, there wouldn't be UFC to this day. Trust me. Donald Trump, he's part of the reason they got MMA into New York, so that they can do live events of MMA at New York. All thanks to the Don. He was a real pioneer. He supported Dana White all through it, and Dana White speaks. Dana White is the UFC president, by the way, just in case people don't know. He speaks highly of Donald Trump and says, yeah, man, he's always been good to me. He's helped us out a lot. And even invested in an MMA promotion back in the day called Affliction. And Donald Trump was an investor in that. So there you go. Without the Don, if you're an MMA fan and you don't like Donald Trump, I suggest you think about that one. By the way, this is from the where is this from? AVO. It's the Dominion. I think it's Dominion Republic. These cigars come from. They're not too expensive either. These are a couple of quid. These ones, because they're only skinny in that. They're not. They don't take the piss out of you. I'm going to read some of these. Sorry, Mahusiv. I was going to name it Churchill Winston. No flies on me, all right, Dave. Krusty Juggler. Oi, geezer. Who do your haircut? I do. I cut my own hair. There you go. My missus does the back of it for me, because she's lovely like that. Cool. Now I was 15. Yeah, well, this is delayed, like it's a little bit behind. But by the way, people, I'm in my kitchen now. Like, this is my kitchen. Oh shit, I nearly burnt her balloon with a fucking cigar. I'm in my kitchen now because I've got a Wi-Fi booster, so I can actually go in the garden and stuff like that and still get Wi-Fi now, which is good, because I used to have to sit in my front room on that uncomfortable chair. Now I'm on my lovely comfortable chair. And in the kitchen, so I can smoke and do my thing. No worries, Andrew Colley. Listen, you don't owe me a damn thing. Don't apologise for being late. There is no late. I'm here all night. UFC, yeah, UFC. I love Trump. I think it's important he speaks out about George Floyd, though. You seen his death? No, tell me about it, Timothy Ross. Tell me about George Floyd's death. Was that the black guy that was killed by coppers? They shot him for running from a house or something. I think I might know the story, but very little about it. So you got to let me know. I might be wrong here. I might be completely wrong. Look, on Mr. Smoke can tell herbs when you're streaming. Sorry, Spawn of Wessex. I missed the smoke. Can tell Herbs when you're streaming. I'm unsure what you mean there, mate. Might be some wrong words in there, or spell check went wrong. I'm not sure. I think you're saying, do I smoke weed when I'm live streaming? If it's that, no, I don't smoke weed while I'm live streaming. Just tobacco, you know. Right, Luke, have you been watching the German football? No, I haven't. What's happening with the German football? Was looking at my new paint. Well, custom made. Oh yeah, top man. Yeah, get that bike done, brother. You should have just named it Legs. Legsby Avenue. That's quite funny. That's quite funny. Legsby Avenue. That is funny. No, that's a different guy, Luke. Ah, okay. Vinnie Jones was in the WWF once. Yeah, he was. And Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson made a WWF appearance, didn't he, as well? The cops shot him, but then had their knee in his neck for 7 minutes. What the fuck? Are cigars safer than cigarettes? Yes, that's proven by the FDA. That is the Federation for Alcohol and FDA, Federation Drugs and Alcohol. I think it's the Federal something of Drugs and Alcohol. Basically, the FDA did a 15-year study on cigar smokers, and they showed after 15 years of smoking 3 cigars a day, no ill health effects. They had nothing wrong with them, not one of them, as a result of the cigar smoking. Because when you smoke a cigar, you don't take it down. It doesn't go into my lungs. I literally, in my mouth for the flavour, I retrohale, so blow some of the smoke out of my nose, and that's it. I mean, you're still at risk of mouth cancer and stuff like that, but when you're a cigar smoker, you don't need to smoke 20 a day, you know? So you're only smoking the 1, 2 a day, maybe. Same as pipe smoking. It's a lot less tobacco, and you're doing it for the flavours. There's no chemicals in it. It's just tobacco. This is just tobacco. Okay, and you don't breathe it in your lungs. So yes, it is safer, far safer than smoking cigarettes. But listen to me, don't smoke. You are far better off not smoking. I'm not saying to smoke, but if you're going to smoke, you're probably better off with just tobacco. So yeah, there you go. Delia Smith, what's this? Get with it. Technicalities, and I will come and give you the history of longer. Yes, please, Ty Haggis. I will ask my good friend Diamond Dan if he will at some point set up a meeting between us, and we can do a Skype thing and call each other and do a meeting so that it'll work. Because the last time I tried to get someone on the show, it was a fucking shit show. I fucked it right up. So I'll ask my friend if he can set that up one day when he's got a bit of time. Obviously, I don't want to cut into his time and that. Who's helping you with live podcast? It is Diamond Dan, who I just mentioned, Andrew Collin. Mike Tyson's favourite was Owen Hart. Is that right? I didn't know that. There you go. That's the spider one. It's a Mexican, yeah, red, yellow knees. Yeah, you get Mexican red knee, Mexican flame leg, Mexican flame knee. All different types of ones, but they're all brachypelma something. Brachypelma smithy is a Mexican red knee. That's the Latin name for it. There you go. What do you mean? No, I'm old school. The smoke is London. Then get the London tobacco, mate. I've got one up there, black. It's this Peterson, but in black, and it's London tobacco. It's fucking lovely. It's really good. How about the kickoff in Barrow? Looks like people are finally... Yeah, I see that. I see that. People are fucking fed up with grooming gangs. They really are. Apparently, yeah, Mike Tyson's making a comeback. Apparently. There's been Vanderlei Silva offer him out. Tito Ortiz has offered him out. Evander Holyfield has offered him out for a fight. There's loads of people jumping on it that want to jump in there with Mike Tyson. Including Tyson Fury, as you just said. Yeah, there's a few. I was amazed to hear that Reverend Simon Sideways is gay. What? Are you making me read out something I shouldn't hear? Is this a fact, people? Has Reverend Simon Sideways come out as gay? Not that I care. I don't care that he's gay at all. But if that's true, so fucking what? Not a problem to me. Don't care what he does between the four walls of his bedroom. But I didn't know. I mean, someone's probably winding me up, getting me to say this on live, so I look like a cunt. Which ain't hard to do. I was gonna. Man, Diamond Dan. Yeah, Simon Evans, he's pure puff. Should get him on here, talk about it. He might come on if I ask him, but I'm struggling at the minute to get guests on and stuff because obviously I can't do it all my fucking self. So would like to have him on though. He's a big name, isn't he? You know. And not only that, he's a good guy. I met him in London. on Brexit Day. We had a chat. He seems like a cool guy. I really like him. He was, nice enough. Said hello. Wasn't ignorant. Good guy. I like him. No. Your messages are coming out, dude. Your messages are coming out. It's not a problem. I've offered Mike Tyson out and he bottled it. I believe that, mate. Totally believe that. Everyone knows he's gay. Is he gay? Who cares? Listen. Here's the thing, right? I know obviously there's people out there that are really against, the whole homosexual thing. And for reasons, because the LGBT community, whatever you want to call them, which I think is bullshit. I hate LGBT shit. I think it's crap. A man's gay, a woman's a lesbian, a man's trans, a man's unicorn, puff smoke, penguin person, whatever. I don't care about all that, right? Most of it's bollocks. Gay men are gay men, lesbians are lesbians. But at the end of the day, why does it have to be a political movement? Like where the LGBT people have hijacked, the left wing have hijacked LGBT stuff. And they're all running about in rainbow flags and sex toys and silly garments and stuff like that and exposing themselves, being practically naked at a march down London where there's potentially children walking about. Fuck you. Fuck LGBT. They can shove that shit up their arse. They might enjoy that. But at the end of the day, I really don't give a fuck what a man is doing in his bedroom with his partner who he loves, whatever it is, right? That's fine. As long as you're not hurting someone else or forcing someone against their will or hurting animals, I don't care what your sexuality is. Couldn't give a monkeys. You're doing it in the privacy of your own bedroom. It's none of my fucking business what you do in your own bedroom, providing you're not hurting a child or another human being. But at the same time, I don't go around running down the street, me and my missus, her wearing her sex clothes, I've got a vibrator and a dildo in my hand, shouting at everyone, we're straight and we're yay. No, we don't. I don't give a fuck other than that. I just got a problem with the pride marches and stuff like that. I think you should keep that stuff to yourself. I'm not really bothered. There isn't a job you can't have. There isn't a fucking house you can't buy, a flat you can't rent, a product you can't buy, a shop you can't go in anymore. All that stuff's done. Welcome to 2020. Poke your LGBT march up your bum. I don't. Fuck off. Don't care. You've got gay clubs. You can also go in straight pubs and just pubs that are not sexually specific. and places of, you know, public places in general. You can go and be fine. You're in Western society. You're protected by the law. You know, this ain't Russia. This ain't Saudi Arabia. I get it. You were hard done by for years, and you know there was gay prejudice and whatnot. But it was only if it was out in public. Trust me. You still had fucking gay places to go in the 1800s and stuff. You had fucking little boys dressed up as women for the old fucking fat geezers sitting there drinking their brandy, smothered in gout, perving over little boys dressed up as women and whatnot. And rent boys. That's where the fucking rent boys comes from. You know? There are still gay people back in Rome. In the Roman times, it was quite a masculine thing to shag another man. You've been about for years and stuff like that, you know. It's only been, you know, it's just them ultra Christian people that are really against gays and don't want them doing this, that, and the other. But they've been well outweighed by, you know, civil rights nowadays. It's done. There's no fuck all that. And the thing is, how can you compare a gay bloke, just a guy that's, you know, sexually attracted to other males and has a partner and a husband or whatever it is nowadays, you know, civil partnership and whatnot. How can you compare him to a geezer that likes to dress in his nan's clothes? You can't. It's not even the same fucking thing. So why are you lumping them all into one group? This group identity stuff is bullshit. One gay man is not the same as another gay man. I know a gay geezer that's harder than me. He's a fucking beast. An absolute monster of a man. He would batter me all over the fucking street, up and down it. And back again, and twice on Sunday. No fucking problem. Right? And you compare him to Graham Norton, they're not the same person. Not at all. Nothing alike whatsoever. So lumping them all into one group is bollocks. Fuck all that. No more LGBT stuff. It's nonsense. It doesn't need to be there. It's just all victimhood. Please feel sorry for me. But look at us. We're going to rub it in your face. Bollocks. Shouldn't be a political movement. Your sexuality should have nothing to do with your politics. Because it's not related in any way, shape or form. Nonsense. Hear, hear. That's all I've got to say about that. It's quite a rant, wasn't it? But yeah, the Dan. I thought everyone knew he was out. Wouldn't want to shake his hand, but seems an okay lad. I shook his hand. He's a good guy. Reverend Simon Sideways is a good guy. He's a really good guy, quite intelligent, knows what he's talking about. He's very good in his arguments. He points out flaws on both sides. He's fair. And I only met him the once, briefly, but he was a good geezer. He was alright. I ain't got a bad word to say about him. People, you form your own opinions of him. Don't let me cloud your judgment. If you don't like him for whatever reason, that's up to you. But he seems like a sound guy. He's cool. In my book. If he is gay, I don't know. It's just what someone said on here. So, there you go. Don't bother me though. Most gay lads now are just normal folk. There's a community that purports to stand for them. It gives them a bad name. Nothing to do with them. Left try and own their gays for their own gain. They do. They try and use them as a little puppets, like they've done the black communities over the years and any sort of ethnic minorities. The left have always sort of jumped on them to, I'll be your hero. You vote for me and I'll make sure you can do this. And they've never done a damn thing for them. Never done a damn thing for them. Not at all. Not at all. Content of character is more important. Absolutely, Danny Byrne. I'll give you that. Not my thing. Yeah, it's not my thing. You know, I wouldn't want to see two geezers going at it next to me. I'd walk away. I'd be like, listen, boys, fucking leave it out. But I'm the same sort of person that cringes at sex scenes in films and on programs. I can't bear them. They should leave them out. I really don't like sex scenes whatsoever. If I want to watch a bit of Johnny Vaughan, I'll go on Pornhub, chuck a bit of that on, do my business like all men do. Don't lie to yourselves. We all We all, strangle the rabbit, or, bash the bishop, whatever you want to call it. We all do that. Yeah? Listen, happens. We're men. You do this shit. More so when you're a teenager. Until you lose your virginity, you're begging God to just please stop me fucking bashing off. I've had enough. This fucking thing's sore. Please stop me doing it. And then once you get your end away, that shit slows down. But you're doing your thing, yeah? Whatever. Where was I going with this? Made myself lose my own train of thought. But yeah, you get what I mean? If I want to watch a bit of that, I'll watch a bit of that. I don't want to see it in fucking programs, crap sex scenes, where I know the two actors are not enjoying that. It's the most embarrassing thing they've ever done. And they're like, oh, can't wait for this to be over. Unless you're doing it Angelina Jolie sex scene. I'd be paid a couple of million to do something like that. Why not, eh? Or whoever. You do your thing. But 90% of the time, I'm watching them crap Hollywood sex scenes, and Netflix is full of them. It's really annoying. I'm getting bored of Netflix. Keep watching these fucking awkward sex scenes. And I'm done with them. Just leave them out. Why don't they do like they used to? You'd see the two people kissing, and then someone would pull their top off, and then it would cut, and then you'd just have them the next morning or a couple of hours later laying in bed smoking a cigarette, and then having a chat about what they're going to do next. And that was the end of it, I preferred that. Call me old-fashioned, but yeah, so what? I'm old-fashioned. It just aggs me. I just watch them say, oh, fast forward this, please, babe. And she'll fast forward it, because it just aggs me. It's too long. Alright, who's giving out awards for best sex scene? Fuck that. Sorry, I make people laugh. Seeing these laughing faces. Yeah, that's, strangled a rabbit, whatever you call it. It's boring. I'm not fucking, Yes, I am calling you a wanker, G-Man. No, I'm not having this. Smear because he's walking away from the toxic Tommy. What's that? Smear? Who's walking away from the toxic Tommy? What are you on about? It didn't slow down for me. LOL. The left use LGBT votes like Biden did with the whole, if you don't know me, bruv! Ollie Mack, thank you. Ollie Mack. Did anyone hear Joe Biden? Joe Biden talking to that fucking Wilfred the King or whatever his fucking name is. You know what I mean? What's his name? He calls himself the God. That's it, the God. Jeremy the God or whatever his fucking name is. He's some Black Power geezer. He's quite annoying actually. He's on the Breakfast Club or something. And is it Breakfast Club or is that the old film? Something like that. I don't know. He calls himself Ja Rule the God or something. And he was sitting there talking to Joe Biden. And Joe Biden said, yeah, if you vote for Trump, you ain't black. Like it was funny. And it's like, the geezer just let it go. Anyone else would have said that. The geezer would have tore him a new one. If that was Donald Trump sitting there saying that, he would not have got away with that. That would have been everywhere. But this geezer, it was awful. Hey, what's happening, Lee Garrett? What's going on? Tomato face. I got a little strawberry. Oh, hang on. What side is it? That one. Oh, Spotty Herbert. Proper Spotty Herbert. Yeah, I am a good man for taking a pay cut for sleeping with Angelina Jolie. You've got to do your bit, ain't you? Got to do your bit. You like South Park? They do PC Babies. Yeah. Do you know what? I've never been into South Park. I'll just say, but I know South Park is the bollocks. Everyone says it. It just didn't do it for me at the time, and I never got into it. And then, like, I don't know, however many seasons in, I've just never caught up with it, But I do like F is for Family. F is for Family is my all-time favourite cartoon ever. F is for Family. I fucking love it. It's a few short seasons. They've just announced they're doing another season. They just did the trailer for it. It looks hilarious. I love F is for Family. I absolutely adore that program. It's my favourite. Charlemagne, that's him. That's his name, Danny Byrne. Yeah, Charlemagne. Charlemagne the God, he calls himself. He's a wanker. I have been in the sun. I have been in the sun. I'm tanned up. I've lost a stone. And looking good. Feeling good about myself, you know. Doing my thing. Epstein didn't kill himself. Basically, I was doing a podcast on, what's it called? Arthur Conan Doyle. It was quite interesting, actually. He's got a good story. And I did my thing. And people enjoyed it. They were really nice to me about it. You know, I did my best on the research. It was a lot to take in, so I had to pick bullet points, and it was a brief history into Arthur Conan Doyle. And right now, I'm having a couple of drinks, smoking a la-di-da, trying my best to keep it entertaining on here. And the audience are being fantastic to me at the minute. They're helping me out big time with the funny comments. But yeah, no, I was just talking about Charlemagne the God was on an interview with Joe Biden, and Joe Biden dropped in, "If you vote for Trump, you're not black." Like, it was funny. And whoever his PR company are, you know, public relations, whoever the fuck they are, must have just wanted the ground to swallow him up when he said that. He's one dopey old cunt. He really is. Excuse my language, ladies, but he really is. He really is. Like, he's a blatant racist. Blatantly. You know, he grew up back then, and this is the days when they were teaching ABCs and then screaming at black kids to get off the lawn of their school, when you had white schools, black schools, and no mixing. And you know, he's from them days. What do you expect? He's fucking old. But it's just the double standards. Because if Trump would have said that, that's the end of his campaign. I guarantee that. Guarantee that. He's in the special care community. That's why he was let off. Yeah, mate. Yes, Andrew. Joe Biden has a control on black people, apparently. He's the manager. Yeah, all he ever says, all that old cunt ever says is, "Just check my record. Just check my record. Check my record." Like, we don't need to check your record. You're here to fucking blow your own fucking bugle, mate. You're here to blow your own bugle. That's the whole point of doing a presidential run, is you sit there, blow your own bugle, and you know, speak about what you've done. What not that. Just check my record. You know, they ain't no good. Tell it. The cunt can't even remember what cities he's in. Right? See me, I can't even get a sentence out there when I'm trying to mug him off. But no, for real. It'd be there, like in Georgia or whatever, and he'll go, and the thing, you know, and where I am now today, and the thing. And that's all he does. Just gets out there, can't remember where the fuck he is. He's, you know, smelling people, having a good old sniff, you know, sniffing their ear roll. Fucking old weirdo. And this prick thinks he's got a chance against Trump. Listen, Hillary, on paper, should have wiped the floor with Trump. That was the idea. That's why, you know, it was almost a foregone conclusion that Hillary was going to win. Trump's no way going to win. He's a reality TV star, billionaire guy, and he shouldn't have had a chance in hell. So then putting up Biden, it's just taking the lamb to the slaughter, isn't it, really? Once they start going at it in public debates, oh dear, Biden's going to be destroyed. He really is. Ty Haggis is only looking for the spider climbing up the wall. Am I correct in thinking that Biden make a statement for segregation? I think you're right there. I think he did. He's nuts. Luke, do another quiz. St George's Day was a right good night. Yeah, all right then. I'll do that. The Englishman. Thank you. I'll do another quiz. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do another quiz on something. I'll think of a subject. And yeah, he is a perv. He is a perv, Erica. Yeah, we'll do another subject and do another quiz, eh? I think that's a good idea. Trump versus Biden, UFC. Dana, mate, Trump will smash him. I swear Trump was like a state wrestler or something. No worries. And yeah, you want to jump in, Mister? You can. You know who I'm talking to. Jump in any time you want. But yeah, the Churchill, when you think America got 350 million people and the best they've got is Biden, that's fucking true. That's fucking true. Luke, you look like a young Gavin McGinnis. Here we go. What's happening, son? You in there? Can we hear ya? Or is it coming on? Right, here we go. Let's dab my cigar out. Look at the smoke. It's bad for your health. Don't smoke, people. Robbie Fryer, what's going on? Trump, yeah, Trump all day long. Straight up. I got you, Dan. You reckon the UK will ever get our own Trump? Boris is good, but not quite the same. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know. I don't know if we ever will. We're very liberal. Very liberal. Do you know what I mean? We are very liberal. It's a little bit a little bit. We're too nice. We're too nice these days. We used to be quite fucking ruthless, Britain, but not so much these days. Little bit limp-wristed nowadays. I don't think we'll ever have a proper Trump. You know, it's not going to happen. I think. I don't know. Not in my lifetime, maybe. Hopefully, I'd fucking love it if we did. That would be immense to put it, you know. Trump and Boris together. Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping Boris won't take none of their nonsense. You know, he refused to apologise for calling the Muslims letterboxes, didn't he? He was like, you know, have a cup of tea, have a cup of tea. All the journalists outside his house. He didn't really stand for it. He didn't tolerate their bollocks. So hopefully, you know, he can do the bizzo. But unfortunately, I don't trust the Tories. I don't trust the Tories. I mean, we've got to get a grip on immigration, and they're not the ones to do it. They're not going to do that. They know it'll destroy their party, and they're controlled by, you know, they're basically puppets for bigger fish. And I'm in the bit now where I'm trying to figure out who the bigger fish are. I'm hearing lots of stories, lots of good, you know, good points, lots of bad points, and trying to figure out what is actually going on. Because if you listen to David Icke, it's reptilian shapeshifters that are running the world. If you listen to the FNATs, it's the Jews that are running the world. If you listen to others, it's globalists, and it's a mixture of different people. I don't know who's doing all this. It's bad, you know. I mean, Brazil kind of got done some good shit, didn't they? Brazil got what's his name, Bolsonaro. I can't say his name properly, but they got him in, who's a real proper old school conservative guy, and he sorted shit out over there. Poland are based as fuck. They're really good. Poland, man. I envy Poland so much. They're just not having any of that shit, are they? They just don't accept it. Anyway, 4 to 5 years, no arrests. Enjoy the show, sheeple. Yeah. I get you. Who did I vote for last time? I have never voted. I have never voted for a party in my life. I'll be honest. I advised people to vote for Boris last time. I said Boris is your best bet at the minute. Vote for him. But I've only ever voted in Brexit. The Brexit vote. I voted out of Europe. Bosolero. There you go. Bosolero. Thank you. That's his name. Is it Bosolero? Boss. Something like that, isn't it? I think. But no, I've never voted for a political party. I don't trust none of them. Never have. Never have. So there you go. I only ever voted on Brexit. Hungary as well, yeah. Hungary are pretty based. Hey, thank you, Mikey. Thank you, Mikey. Appreciate it. Always do. Mm. The camera has frozen. We're just sorting it out now. We're trying out some new things, and as we speak, getting things going. Yeah, Poland are ruthless, mate. Poland don't accept no bullshit. They're just like, nah, fuck that. It's all right. Don't worry, people. Camera's coming back. Yeah, I gotta love Poland for that, man. Poland just accepted no bollocks. Just like, not here, not in my fucking garden. You know what I mean? It just not on my watch. It just fucking. Hey, what's happening, Mikey? Ah, thank you. Follow her on Telegram. Cheers. Appreciate it, Mikey. Yeah, I watched a video the other day um, on Poland, and it was the Polish people protesting against an LGBT march that was going on in Poland. Now, listen, I sympathise with the people at that march, the LGBT crowd, because they weren't like our LGBT crowd. They were quite, none of them were wearing sex toys and being too flamboyant and too over sexualized. So I do sympathise with them a bit because it's not, it's not tolerated at all in Poland. But then again, you got to understand the Polish people that were protesting it see what happens in America and over here with the LGBT march and how over sexualized it is and how children are being let to be drag queens and stuff like that and dancing around stripper poles, and so you get both sides of it in a way. Obviously, I'm more side with the conservative Polish people by far. But when you're hearing like flashbangs going off and there was a toddler crying in the pram and stuff like that, and the mum had to pick it up and run because the Polish men that were in the crowd were being super aggressive, like it looked like someone was going to get hurt if the police didn't do something. So like I kind of sympathise with that, but then at the same time I totally get where the conservative Polacks are coming from. They're like, no, we're not having this over here because of where it leads to. So you kind of get it, and I don't know. I know that the cameramen filming were probably being extremely biased and were looking. There's a kid in a pram. Let's get this on film because it's going to kick off in a minute, and it looked really good. So you know that the media are biased. So the video I watched painted a really dark picture of what was what. I know there's a grey area, but I still feel, don't know. I'm just a human being, and I don't like seeing that much aggression directed towards a crowd where they've got children in it. I've always got that little soft spot in my heart when kids are involved. It always makes me like nice. But then the parents shouldn't have took their kids there. There's that as well. So like, I'm trying to be as fair as I can, but at the same time, I totally feel where the Polish people, conservatives that were there, are coming from. that you don't want that LGBT shit over there. You really don't. It's not good. And I'm not saying at all, before any fucking lefty films this and tries to paint me in a bad light. Listen, I don't think that gay people and lesbian people deserve to be beaten up or, you know, treated in a way, in a violent way at all. I'd never fucking say that. No way in the world. No one deserves to be beaten up apart from paedophiles. You know, because they hurt children. It's scum. Scum of the earth. So I'm not advocating for that either. No way in the world. No way in the world do they deserve beatings or anything like that. No way. Everyone deserves a chance to be treated as a human being. But then all I'd say to the LGBT community, like I said earlier, is, you know, don't over sexualize yourself. You know, your sexuality is such a small part of your life. You know, you fancy men, you fancy women, and you're from that sex yourself. So what? What? That defines you. Your sexuality defines you as a person. Like, your be all and end all is where you stick your penis or your tongue. No, it's not. That's a small part of who you are. You know, why has that got to be the be all and end all of your conversation and your... Fuck no. You're better than that. You know, I'm not on that one. It's weird. Yeah, I'm with you, Robbie Fry, on that one. I will stand with Muslims against LGBT teachings in our schools. I wouldn't all. I'd say no. No, you're not teaching that in my kids' primary school. That's for me to tell them about. No, we're not doing that. Fuck off. You know, that's how you let people know you're not kidding. Waving flags and chanting doesn't do shit. Yeah, I get you. I get you. I do get you to a certain extent, but at the same time, you know, it was hard. It was horrible to see a kid, you know, being scared shitless. But the parents shouldn't have put their kid in that position. When we was in Sevenoaks, the reality report, we were in Sevenoaks and we got in that fight that most people have seen by now with Antifa. Antifa turned up to attack us and stuff like that. Some of the Antifa members brought their kids with them to that. Their children were there. Do you think for one fucking second I would take my kids to a march, a freedom of speech march, or a Britain First march, or a Tom Robinson march, or whatever march it would be? Do you think I'd take my kids to that? To an FLA march or a DFLA march? Fuck no. No way in the world would that happen. No way in the world. I know what you're saying. Listen, Greta Thunberg, I'm not disagreeing with you whatsoever. Um, not disagreeing with you whatsoever. It's just, you know, it's just harsh to see. But I do know that the media are biased, so I can't trust the fucking thing they show us, you know. I'm not that naive. I know the way the camera was, you know, following that kid until something happened. So there was probably a good hour's worth of marching with no incident, and then it kicked off and they just filmed that little bit. And to say you saw everything when you watched a 2 minute clip at best, you know, however long it was, a 2 minute clip, to say you saw everything that happened on that day, bollocks. I'm not that naive. There's no way in the world. No way in the world. I see how Islam has took another step of their totalitarian tiptoe by firstly requesting one prayer call, and now they want their 5 day. They're laughing at how easy it is to get what they want. Yeah, our liberal leaders are too much now. If you come to this country, you should, you know, leave your shit at the door. You know, there's an old-fashioned way of being. When you come to my house, you take your shoes off at the door. And I think that's the way our government should approach other cultures when they come here. Take your shoes off at the door. You do what you want in your own house, but when you're in our house, you give us respect, and then respect will be returned. You get what I mean? I don't think I'd go to Jamaica, say, and start demanding that every Friday everyone needs to eat fish and chips like we used to, or every Sunday everyone must have a Sunday roast, or every restaurant must serve a Sunday roast because that's what we have over here. No way in the world. You know, you take your shoes off at my door, you take your hat off in my home, and you don't forget your please and thank yous. You know what I mean? Just common courtesy, being like that. I'm not a fan of coming somewhere else and continuing the way you live. You should you know respect your host in a sense. Not that I'm telling them they don't need to be Muslim anymore or anything like that. They can continue to be Muslims and do practice their faith, but at the same time, keep that to your fucking self. Do that in your own house. You know, that's, I think that's just a sensible way of being. You come somewhere to integrate, not to segregate further. You don't come to someone else's country and start calling the shots, because then you're going to piss off the host. Imagine someone walking in your house eating your bourbons, because we was talking about them earlier. And oh, I don't eat that. I have to eat this. Well, fuck off, mate. I've invited you around for dinner. You're going to eat what I cooked. Yeah? You know, that's politeness. That's just being a fucking human being. When in Rome, yeah, do as the Romans do. That's bang on, mate. Absolutely bang on. What if their socks smell? Well, then they're not coming in my fucking house. You have a wash before you come in my fucking house. Not putting up with that. Some fucking smelly ass feet in my fucking house. No. Go home, wash your feet, son. I'm going to have another pipe. What do I have? Another. I'll tell you what. I'll put it to the audience. What does Luke have? Another pipe, Sherlock Holmes, or do I have a cigar? A big German Cuban blend cigar. Which one? I'll let you decide. I'm just going to go for a tinkle because nature calls, and I'll be back in a second and I'll count up the votes. So keep the thing ticking over. Watch out for trolls. I'll be back in a second. I'm back, people. So what do we vote for? Another pipe or another cigar? A Cuban. Well, a Cuban blend. I won't bullshit. It's a Cuban blend. I do have a. I think I've got a Cuban in my fucking thing. I think I have. So here we go. What am I voting for here? Right. New country. Right. So the first one. One for pipe. One for cigar. Another pipe. A cigar. So we've got two each cigar. Oh, it's close. Cigar. 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 La-di-da. So yeah, the geezer's got the rhyming slang down. All right, La-di-da's winning at the minute. Another cigar. Another cigar. Here we go. I think cigars won this one out. So sorry, love ya, but a la-di-da it is. A la-di-da. 74%. I'm loving that. Right. Oh yeah. I've got to pour myself whiskey first and all. Oh, need to get another bottle of this. Look, it's running out. I want to go on the 100 proof in a minute. Right. Half and half. Tell you what, that's not a bad idea, Mr. Robbie Fry. You're a bad influence. You're a naughty boy. Right. So cigar. What's that? Want to get a big stack of speakers parked next to one of their mosques. And while they're scratching out, drawing them out with some dirty drum and bass, or if someone reading the Bible, God save the Queen. Ollie Mac, you do that. If that's what you want to do, then why not, son? Why not? You know, Oliver McIntosh. I'm guessing what your name is. Pretty Patel, the Home Office, and co need to stop blaming bureaucracy. This is a communist invasion who's at fault truly. The French authorities are coinciding with certain UK authorities. If anyone knows, it's Viking dude. Trust me on that one. He does know his shit. So, see, I'm not being a chooch. I'm actually smelling it as it's out of the wrapper. No choochiness here. It's nice and soft. It's got a good humidity going. A good consistency. Let's get me a bit more. Come on. There you go. Hello, Antigua. Didn't see you there. There's a nice cigar. Villagers, they're quite good. They are quite good. Oh, some bagpipes. Yeah, I know a bagpiper. He's really fucking good and all. My mate Davey boy. He's superb. I wouldn't touch her, Timothy Ross. Alexander Ocasio-Cortez. Yeah, she's a skinny little fuck. I don't like her much. She's not my type at all. I know what you mean though. Go and pound that feminism out of her. Someone needs to show her what it is to be an alpha male. Listen, I don't want to sound like some chauvinist pig or pretending that I'm some special fucking geezer and blowing smoke up my own arse and all that business. But seriously, there is no doubt that alpha males are more attractive to females. You know, females go for alpha males. There is nothing more dissatisfying for a woman than to be with a weak man. It's just pathetic. There's nothing really attractive about that. I mean, like Jordan Peterson says, there is momentary satisfaction in domination. But when you're with someone that's constantly not putting up no fight against you, not giving you anything back, not standing up for themselves or saying what they want to do, or having a spine about them, there's nothing less attractive than that. I'm attracted to my missus because she gives it back to me. I find that's funny, that's good. But when it comes to the crunch and I'm really not happy about something, I put my foot down with a firm hand. I do the man thing. Nah, and I won't back down. If I know I'm right or whatever else, I'll no. That's not happening. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not. No. And she don't like it, I'll fuck off. Or she can like it or lump it. Simple as that. It's not happening like that. And if she's really not up for doing something, she'll do the same to me. No, fuck off. You go. No, not happening. That's not happening. We're not doing that. All right. There's a bit of give and take there, but at the end of the day, I'm a man. I've got to do my thing. And I agree with you, Robbie Fry. Listen, Jordan Peterson is my idol. Jordan Peterson is the best man in the world for me. He's superb in every fucking way. Every fucking way. You ever listen to Patrice O'Neill? Or I know Patrice O'Neill. I'm not sure on Dante Nero. Different vibe from a pimp perspective, but got some good fundamentals on men and women relationships. That sounds interesting. I like that. I take it Bitterman's out tonight with him speaking this bravely. Yeah, Bitterman's in the hospital at a minute, so I'm having my way tonight. Danny Byrne, you stole my comment. Yeah. Thank you, Diamond Dan. Diamond Dan's doing the shit for me tonight. He's sorting things out. He's a good man. I owe him big time. This shan't be forgotten. It shan't, as I say. Mine too, look, yeah. Jordan Peterson is second to none. He absolutely makes perfect sense in everything he says. He's very careful about what he says. He's very fair in what he says. He's very understanding when it comes to the other side of the argument. He'll listen to it rather than dismiss it. Listen to the argument, pick it apart, or agree with it, whichever way it tends to sway, and say, yeah, there's some truth to that, or no, that's nonsense, and does his thing. He does a real good job of it. And same with Ben Shapiro. I'm a big Ben Shapiro fan. I always will be. I don't care what the FNATs say. Ben Shapiro makes a lot of sense in what he says, and he makes a great argument against anyone that challenges him. What can you say? He's the debate gangster. And him and Jordan Peterson get along like a house on fire. They're really good, listen to each other's points and whatnot. And it's nice to watch. One of my favourite ones was the Rubin Report with Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, and Dave Rubin. Fantastic watch. A real intellectual debate where people actually sat there and listened to each other. And sat there and had a good conversation. And didn't agree on everything. And they were happy to disagree as well. Ben Shapiro and Dave Rubin are good friends. Dave Rubin's gay. Ben Shapiro's Jewish. Didn't go to his wedding because he doesn't agree with that side of it. And Dave Rubin was cool with that. Okay, sweet. No worries. Leave it there. But we're still friends. Respected his friend's decision. And that's cool. And that's to give you like a an insight to my relationship with TRR. I'm TRR for life. I joined TRR on day dot. When Vinny started the reality report, I was involved. I only met him through Facebook, and we hit it off. I was providing security for him in the early days. That was what my job was. And me and Vinny don't agree on everything. On a few things, other things we don't. But that's it. That's the end of it. Don't agree on that. Okay, sweet. You do your thing, I do mine. But we're still under the same banner of freedom of speech and freedom of choice. There's no rules or whatever, to a certain extent. And that's that. But we're still, he's the best man at my wedding. He's the godfather to my children. But we don't agree on everything. Did anyone hear that? Some fucking cats fighting outside. Anyway, don't agree on everything. But we leave it there. We leave that where it may lay. Dan, you've done a fantastic job on this, by the way. That looks cool. See that little flag up in the corner with a YouTube bit there? That's sick. That's actually sick. Have you watched Jesse Lee Peterson? Yeah, I love Jesse Lee Peterson. I think he's fantastic. He really takes no shit and talks no nonsense. He's like, why do you think racism? Why you gotta he's got like lip, and so he's like, why you gotta blame racism on everything? Racism got nothing to do with it. Racism isn't real. Yeah, he does that kind of thing, doesn't he? I love him, the old boy. I remember when he stepped in, the first time I ever saw him was some Latino American news reporter was trying to give it to this white guy, calling him like racist, or sort of pointing out, oh, you must be racist because of this. And then Jesse Lee Peterson steps in, why are you calling him racist? Doing his thing. I don't want to get done for racism myself here. But he sort of pulled her up on it and said, why don't you say that to me? Is it because I'm black? Because that's kind of racist. And she just didn't know where to put her face. He absolutely took her to town. And then he's doing his own talk shows now where he gets guests on and questions them on things, and it's fantastic. I love Jesse Lee Peterson. He's great. Does Bitterman come from the film Arthur? Possibly. Bitterman. Where did I hear? I think I heard Bitterman in Family Guy, to be honest. The butler name, Bitterman. That's why I chose it. I think I heard that on Family Guy, possibly. And I pretended to have a butler, and I just needed a butler name, and it was going to be Alfred, but then it's like, it's Batman, And I didn't choose Alfred, so Bitterman. Just stuck with Bitterman, and that's where it just sounds like a fucking butler name, doesn't it? It's Bitterman. Bitterman. Another cigar, please, Bitterman. Could you top my whiskey up, please, Bitterman? I'm very polite to Bitterman, except for when I do that, snapping my fingers. That don't go down well. I used to have a bell with Bitterman written on it. I used to dingle my bell. Ding-a-ling-ling. Bitterman. That got thrown in the bin. Do you like Gavin McGuinness? Gavin McGuinness is cool. Yeah, he's quite funny at times. Sometimes not that funny, but when he goes against feminists, Gavin McGuinness is the man against feminists. Gavin McGuinness goes down well. Sorry, yeah, I'm trying to read these comments. I'm trying to keep up with you all. If I ignore a comment, it's not because I'm ignoring it. It's just there's quite a few. Didn't Peterson get hooked on meds and end up in a fucked European hospital? Yeah, he did. Yeah. Jordan Peterson, he's like, well, I like to, I don't know. He's that guy. You know him. He's that guy. But he's a fantastic man, Jordan Peterson. Really good. Jordan Peterson sorted me the fuck out. Yeah, 12 Rules for Life. Anyone wants a good book to read, 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. You can't go wrong. Fucking fantastic book. How's the Cuban? The Cuban's lovely, thank you. I read something there where Luke isn't a proper man. I'm a 73-year-old thing. Listen, if I get to 73, I'll only call myself a proper man then. You the man at the minute. Yeah, that's it, Diagus. Yeah, it's a fucking butler's name, isn't it? Bitterman. Please, Bitterman. I said that, yeah. Bitterman, yeah. Bitterman. Bitterman. And yeah, like I said, it was, yeah, Family Guy. Family Guy was where I got Bitterman from. I'm not going to be one of them people that tries like lying. Do you know, like you get them people that pretend they made the joke or they made the thing. Yeah, some of the jokes I do make, but yeah, Bitterman was from Family Guy. It was. I don't remember what episode or what happened in it. I just remember Peter Griffin saying it or Quagmire. I don't know. Was it Quag? I don't know. One of them, and it was Bitterman, and it was. It's just a fucking butler name, isn't it? Bitterman. Bitterman. It might be for something else, actually. It is a butler's name, and it did come from the film Arthur. He was the driver. Okay, there you go. So Family Guy nicked it from Arthur. I nicked it from Family Guy. There you go. So it was from Arthur, yeah? Okay, that's cool. I've learned something new today. Bitterman was from Arthur. Right, there you go. I haven't seen the film Arthur, so I wouldn't have wanted to claim that. But yeah, that makes sense. Fair enough. I need a butler. Yeah, it was Peter Griffin. Yeah, I knew it was one of them. But it's from there you go. Apparently, it's from Arthur. I need to watch that film. I need to sort my life out and get on that good shit. And the Cuban, by the way, is fantastic. Thank you. Cuban blend. Cuban blend. It's a box press as well. If you can see, it's quite square. So it's called a box press. It's a shape of cigar. There you go. Spawn of Wessex. Jim, 60. And I'd still knock them out. Let's have it. Bet you fucking would and all. You don't lose your power. Do you know that? You don't lose your strength. In your age, you keep your strength. You lose a bit of speed and like agility, but your power and your strength is still there. That's why Mike Tyson punches so hard still to this day. He won't have the stamina and he won't have the speed that he once did, but his strength and power will still be there. That's why strong men last so long. If you ever watch World's Strongest Man, like you won't get a 18-year-old World's Strongest Man. That will never happen. I promise you. The earliest a strong man will win World's Strongest Man may be about 25, because you put on the mass. You can't put on the mass too early, and that strength, that utter animal strength, you hit your peak at like 25, and that'll last till your 40s. Or if you're Mark Felix, till your 50s. It can go right up to your 50s, you know. Mark Felix is still a strong man to this day, and he's over 50 years old. You do keep that. You keep that real strength, that core power. It's unbelievable. That lasts longer than anything else. Your speed and agility will fail, but your strength will stay. Brilliant film. You never seen the film? Yeah, I've never seen the film. It's a good film, Luke. Thank you. I'll check it out. I'm up for new films. I'm always looking for new things to watch. Fucking hell. There's a bit of Tyson in the bag from a month. Yeah. I'll tell you what, Boris, he can still have it. He can still have it. Most agility and exercise is mainly mental strength. Without the mind, your body is weak. That's true. Very true, Sean Blackman. The reality is, this is from Ty Haggett, the reality is you also get more strength with age. Yeah, you do. I'm stronger than what I was at 21, 22. My strength is pretty good. But yeah, I'm not as fast and not as agile as I once was. But my strength is much more, much more. Luke, tell us about your diet. Just meat. Yeah, basically, I have just cut out potatoes, rice, pasta, bread, things like that, and I'm just eating mainly beef, some chicken here and there, some fish here and there, but mainly sort of carnivore sort of stuff with some greens or some peppers and onions and stuff like that. No more fruit. Sugar I've taken right out, so I'm not eating any chocolate or anything like that, and I've done about a stone. Straight away. Still keeping up with the fags and the spirits. No more beer. Things like that. And I've done about a stone already. So I'm down to about 14.5 stone. I was 15.5 stone a little while ago. And I weighed myself the other morning. And I'm 14.5. I'm still keeping my cardio going. Doing my cycling. Working. Doing some hard work. Real hard graft at my mate's house. But I'm back to work on Monday. Like my actual job. So keeping up the cardio and stuff like that, doing walks, bits like that, and cycling. But yeah, that's it. Just a lot of meat, a lot more meat, and very little anything else. I've got biltong. I've got a subscription to biltong. So jerky and biltong, a lot of that. So if I fancy a snack, I'll eat a bag of biltong. For my lunch, all I have is a bag of biltong and some water. Some nuts. I eat some nuts, like mixed almonds and some peanuts and some cashews and stuff like that. Like as a little bowl. I'll have them every now and again. And that's it. Just cutting out the bread, the potatoes, and other bits and bobs. Not eating a lot of that, and it's done a stone. So my day job, Timothy Ross asked, my day job is I'm a seal clubber. I fly out to the Arctic every morning and I club seals, baby seals and stuff like that, and take the skins. So, get some seal skins and sell them. I've made billions. Doing it. It's not the prettiest job in the world, not the nicest job in the world, but someone's got to do it, and it helps me pay for my cigars and my whiskey and that. So, job's a job, The lefties hate me for it, but that's capitalism for you. You sell things, got to do what you got to do, ain't you? It ain't that bad, They make it sound like it's evil and whatnot, but they don't feel nothing. They've got no feelings, they're animals. So, it's what it is. And we've got all sorts of things for it, I've got some nice knives that skin them nicely. And, I'm joking. Obviously I'm joking. Or am I? Look up. What? I ain't even saying that live. I don't even know what it is. You tell me what that is, Spawn of Wessex. What's he telling me to look up? I'll Google this. I'll Google this right now. And it better be something good. Here we go. How the fuck do you spell that? Where's it gone? Keto. Oh, it's a diet. Diabetic. Keto is a serious complication, type 1 diabetes, and less commonly of type 2. DKA happens when your blood sugar is very high and acid substances called ketones build up dangerous levels in your body. Okay, what's a complication that occurs in your body produces high level of ketones. Insulin, so it's diabetes, yeah? Diabetes. Okay. Yeah, I won't be getting that anytime soon, I don't think. Seal of approval. Killed it. Nice one, Ty Haggis. What about the sealskin seats and the Bugatti you gave away? Yeah, I gave that away. I had enough of the Bugatti. It was too juicy. It ain't that, yeah. When you're riding down the motorway in a Bugatti and you've got to stop every fucking 2 hours to fill the cunt up because it's just burning through petrol. It gets a bit annoying, you know what I mean? Not that I can't afford it, but it's just the inconvenience of having to stop and be around all them peasants all the time. It's annoying, you know? It's really annoying. Sean Blackman, what's your take on Cummings and his long drive? I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what that means. I'm not gonna lie. Let me know what it means, and I'll give you an opinion. I promise. Ollie Mac, yeah. I go Bear Grylls on that shit, yeah. The lefties hate you for not being a lefty. Baby seals are actually evil. Is nature evil? I think baboons are. Baboons. I fucking hate baboons. If someone wiped baboons off the planet, I wouldn't shed a fucking tear. And I tell David Attenborough to get fucked about that one as well, because baboons need to die. They're horrible bastards. Can't stand them. Seals are quite evil as well, yeah. What they do to penguins, like big seals, the way they eat penguins is fucking brutal. It makes you feel less bad when a shark gets them. You know, you watch a seal and a penguin. I watched a seal buggering a penguin. A seal pinned a penguin on the ice, with all the penguin mates watching, and the seal was bumming the penguin. That's true. Seals do that. They pin penguins down, shag them, and then eat them. True. Fact. That's a fact. Nature is metal. Promise you, I'm not making that one up. A no-meat diet, it nearly killed me. Yeah, I'm not surprised. You can live on meat. Jordan Peterson, for an example, and his daughter exclusively eat grass-fed beef. That's it. They eat grass-fed beef and some greens. So like spinach or cabbage, and they're fine. They absolutely sorted out all their health problems just from eating grass-fed meat and spinach and all that business. Yeah, no meat diet near kill me. I completely believe it. We also hunt Antifa in the same way. Look behind you. There's a baby seal with a crossbow. Kill the fucker. Seals are amazing. Oh yeah, seals. Yeah, seals are cute as fuck, but they are kind of evil as well. Well, they're not evil. It's just the way it runs, isn't it? Oh, of course I know Dominic Cummings is. Yeah, sorry, I'm being a spastic here. Yeah, Dominic Cummings. Yeah, it's funny because they're blaming him for taking, you know, not doing the social distancing thing, but then all the press are outside his house, all gathered in a big mass of people. They're not obeying the COVID laws either, are they? You know, so bollocks to it all. If it's the British press, I don't fucking trust them or believe them or back them in any way. They're scumbags. They're utter scumbag hypocrites. All of the British press. Bollocks to them. I'm sure there's some good ones in here and there, but most of them, they're out to make a pound note off of someone else's misery, and I can't respect that. You know, they give no one their privacy, but if someone did it to them, they would hate it. So it's like, listen, don't do to others what you don't want done to yourself, yeah? And the British press are the worst in the world for that. So fuck them. Them paparazzi bastards. They're just scum. Absolute scum of the earth. What music do you like? Mainly 70s music at the minute. Anything. I like anything. If a song's good, a song's good. I suppose mostly rap. Mostly rock. Mostly rock music. I'm not too into rap. Some rap songs are okay, but mostly I'd say 70s rock, funk type stuff at the minute. But it does change. Can't say I've done anything different than Dominic Cummings. Yeah, that's what I mean. I've been out. I've had parties and things and people round and whatever, and not meant to do that. Whenever I look at Jordan Peterson's daughter, I think of how am I supposed to rescue my father from the belly of the whale when she's out there looking like that? Fair enough. Boris Johnson and Dominic Cummings. When I was a little man. Yeah, Cummings did nothing wrong. I don't believe he did anything wrong. The British press are just pricks. Fuck them. Yeah, it is a witch hunt. It is a witch hunt, Erica. I agree. So that's exactly right. Yeah. I agree. 70s music. Yeah, 70s music is the best. It's the best music decade there's ever been. Is the 70s, no doubt about it. Some people say 80s. Some people say 60s. I say 70s. 70s music. There's some real hidden gems. Real hidden gems. You don't understand it, honestly. People out there, you know me, who've known me a while. For those that haven't, look up a song called "Keep On Smiling" by Wet Willie. It's my favourite song. One of my favourite songs. It's called "Keep On Smiling" by Wet Willie. It's the bollocks of a song. Then you got Daz, Brick House. Brick House. What a fucking tune. She's a brick house. Then you got Marvin Gaye. Then you got Lynyrd Skynyrd. All these great bands. The Eagles. All 70s. Jimi Hendrix, 70s. It's unbelievable. The bands that are out there, the singers and all that. Engelbert Humperdinck, Conway Twitty. Ridiculous, mate. 70s. 70s is the best. Even John Cleese hates the British press. Yes, he does. That's why he fucked off. Slade, Sweet, Mud. Yeah, straight up, Robbie Fry. The 70s, mate. 70s. Best decade for music, by far. By far. Get down and get with it. Yeah, 70s. Seriously. I'm not shitting you. I'm not shitting you. Cream. Yeah, Cream. Look, Zeppelin, Sabbath. Yeah, Hot Chocolate. The Bee Gees. Ridiculous, mate. How many good songs there are in the 70s? There's such. You could literally, right, have a wedding, have a party, or whatever it was, chuck on 70s music for the whole family. Whoever's there, your whole family, friends, right? If you just played 70s music all night, no one would be disappointed. Everyone would be, that was fucking awesome. There's so many good songs. So many. There's a song I love, right? Song I love. I find it now because I struggle with the with naming them, right? But I've got a thing on my Google Play here, right? It's just called. I just named it 70s because most of the songs in it are from the fucking 70s. Most of them. Right, here we go. He's Mr. Know-It-All by Stevie Wonder. Go All The Way by the Raspberries. Spirit in the Sky, Norman Greenbaum. Moon Age Daydream, David Bowie. Fooled Around and Fell in Love, Elvin Bishop. I'm Not in Love, 10cc. That may be 80s, maybe. I Want You Back, Jackson 5. Come and Get Your Love by Redbone. What a fucking tune. Come and Get Your Love by Redbone. Absolute tune. Ooh Child, the five stair steps. Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Marvin Gaye. Never Let Her Slip Away by Andrew Gold. Never Let Her Slip Away by Andrew Gold. Never let her slip away. Tune! Fucking tune! Papa Was a Rolling Stone. The Temptations. Get Down on It by Kool and the Gang. Boogie Oogie Oogie by A Taste of Honey. September, Earth, Wind and Fire. Do you remember? And then, you know, it's just pure tunes. Couldn't Get It Right by Climax and the Blues Band. Couldn't get it right. Couldn't get it right. Right? Love and Happiness, Al Green. Daz by Brick. Boogie Wonderland, Earth, Wind and Fire. Jive Talking by the Bee Gees. The Bee Gees wrote a song about someone chatting shit. They wrote a song about a bullshitter. And it was an absolute tune. And everyone knows a bullshitter, don't they? Everyone. Escape, the Pina Colada song. Do you like Pina Coladas? Fucking tune. Horse with No Name by America. Green Peppers. You got Love Machine by the Miracles. I'm just a love machine. Earth, Wind and Fire, Shining Star. And you got Lakeshore Drive by Alita Haynes and Jeremiah. Right? The Chain, Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac. That album. Absolute tune. Sam Cooke, Bring It On Home. Southern Nights by Glenn Campbell. Brandy by Looking Glass. Listen to people. Write this one down. Brandy by The Looking Glass. The sailor said, Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a tune. Absolute tune. Father and Son by Cat Stevens. Like, honestly. Fall in the Rain. Fall in the Rain by Led Zeppelin. You got Little Green Bag. Harvest Moon by Bedlam. Kool and the Gang. Kool and the Gang. It's just, there's nothing better. Drift Away by Dobby Gray. You know that song. What's the one? Yeah. I'll skip it a little bit so we get that fucking vibe. Yeah. Yeah. Give me the people and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Tune. Like, you can't go wrong with the 70s. End off. ELO. Yeah, ELO. ELO. Tunes. I'm telling you. If I sent you my playlist, done you all a little thing of it, of all the songs on there, you wouldn't skip one. You wouldn't skip one. What about fucking Marvin Gaye? And Got to Give It Up. Marvin Gaye, Got to Give It Up. I used to go out to parties and stand around. That one. You know that one that they ripped off. They ripped off a couple of years ago. What was it? Pharrell Williams and Robin Thicke. They ripped it off. Totally ripped it off. Because it's a tune. Yeah, Cat Stevens. Do a 70s music quiz then. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Rush, yeah, I think Neil Peart died this year. Or last year. 60s was a great decade. It was a great decade. The 60s was great. 50s, 60s, all great. But I think if you had to pick like the pinnacle of music in a decade, it would be the 70s. It would. They just had so much more variety. So much more going on. And a little bit less of the electric shit. You know, you got into the 80s, 90s. 80s went a bit gay. 90s was okay. Good decade, actually, for some music and that. But it weren't the 70s, though. 70s is just, it smashed it. Absolutely smashed it. I am, Ty Haggis, I am. I weren't even born in the 70s. I was born in 1986. 1986, so I missed the best decade. But I know. Yeah, mate. Robbie Fry. There is no fucking better drummer than Neil Peart. Neil Peart. Neil Peart. If you know what I mean. Yes, Dr. Dre did do that. He sampled the fuck out of it. Michael Jackson. Don't blame it on something. Yeah, that's the Jackson 5 was in the 70s. It's all the 70s. Donny Osmond. Well, the Osmonds. God damn it. I was talking about the 70s so much my cigar went out. So, you know. There it is. Let's get the thing lit again. 70s, baby. 70s. Whoa, give me the people and I free my soul. Wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. You know, Leonard Skinner, the Eagles. You got, I wasn't saying that was Leonard Skinner, obviously. I know it wasn't Leonard Skinner, but yeah, no, seriously. And please, check out a band called Wet Willie. Band called Wet Willie that hardly no one knows about. And they've got a song called Keep On Smiling. Probably my favourite song of all time. Keep on smiling through the pain. Trust me, people, you'll love that. Oh, Gary Glitter. Oh, someone had to go there, didn't they? Someone had to go there. Mr. Allen. Yeah. He did go gay. Lou Reed, yeah. Fucking hell. Come on, Barry White. Barry White. Barry White. Even Hall & Oates. Hall & Oates started in the 70s. I know they were bigger in the 80s, and you could probably say they were more of an 80s band, but they started in the 70s. They started in the 70s. You know? Hall & Oates. Ah, I love Hall & Oates. Hall & Oates. I tell you what, lads. Lads, you want to pull a bird. You want to impress a bird. Bring her home to your pad. Throw on a bit of Hall & Oates. Chicks dig 'em. Trust me. Hall & Oates. I've had many a passionate love-making night to Hall & Oates. Especially there's a song they did called One on One. Now you're talking. Now you're talking. Yeah, Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross. Here's another one. Oh dear. Where are we going with this conversation? Jeez. So, ABBA. Yeah, ABBA. I forgot about ABBA. Lionel Richie. The best of Lionel Richie. Hello, didn't see you there. Hello. Antifa, I didn't see you standing there. Elton John, Art and Garfunkel. Yeah, Art and Garfunkel. Oh dear. Send me that one over, Ty Haggis. Send me that one over. Ah, of course. Queen. Queen. Forgot about Queen. Queen. Fucking Thin Lizzy. Thin Lizzy. 70s. Thin Lizzy. You know? Jimmy James and the Vagabonds, yeah. Mate, we're going for this tonight. I'll tell you what. It's the 70s all day long. Trust me, 70s. Fuck any other decade. You could literally live your life just listening to 70s music. And you're even including the old country singers. Elvis was still about in the 70s. He died in 77. He was still going. Now, don't get me wrong, people. Right? I have got a proper soft spot for Elvis Presley, especially Burning Love, Burning Love, and Stuck on You, Stuck on You. What a tune! Oh, but it's all about Burning Love for me. Lord of money, feel like a temperature rising. If that comes on, I don't give a monkey's where I am. I'll be at someone's funeral and I'll jump up and dance to that. It's Elvis. It's the king. It's the king of rock and roll. I can't help it. That's it. I hear Elvis. That's it. The old knee starts going. The old knee, and then that's it. I'm up. Ah, mate, Elvis. Can't have it. You put him on, I'm dancing. End of fucking story. End of story. I'm up. I'm up. But yeah, the Ramones, Bay City Rollers. Ah, mate, we're going through them tonight. We're going through them tonight. Stuck on You, yeah. Stuck on You, yeah, Elvis. Yeah, but Elvis was a nonce. Someone chuck him out. Someone chuck him out. No, I'm joking. Don't chuck him out. Spear thrower. No, he wasn't a nonce. Elvis. Listen, I looked up that case and apparently not. Apparently not. Apparently it was a bit, you know, a bit suspect, but for the day it wasn't unusual. It wasn't something that was frowned upon in society and stuff like that. But basically, he met that bird when she was 15, and never touched her, according to her and according to others, including family and Elvis's family and her family. He never laid a finger on her, because you got to think this was the days when it wasn't like it is nowadays, free sex and people do things. It was very gospel, church-going people, so you were allowed to court younger people that were younger than you, but she didn't stay over, didn't you know, stuff like. It was a very church, you know, church abiding, but you know what I mean, Christian kind of relationship kind of thing. Because he was on tour as well. Most of the time that she'd moved from Germany to America, he wasn't even at the house. He was on tour, was touring, so he wouldn't have been there to even do anything in the first place. She lived with his family and stuff like that, and his mother would have had none of that. She had her own separate room and stuff like that. A bit weird, I know. Today's standards, yeah, you wouldn't be getting away with that. But then today's morals are not the same as yesterday's morals, if you get what I mean. The olden times were actually better. You were, you know, you married someone, you stayed with them, and that was it. It was, yeah, Jerry Lee Lewis didn't get away with it with the public. He kind of did. He kind of did. I don't know. I don't want to argue there or there against, but you know, it wasn't as if Elvis was, you know, a Jimmy Savile where it was constantly happening. Say if it was 3 or 4 birds down the line that Elvis was messing about with 14-year-old girls and stuff like that, I'd be like, yeah, he's a nonce. He's fucking continuously doing it, but he didn't. He fell in love with Priscilla and stayed with her for a, you know, a good period of time, if you know what I mean. It wasn't like he was prolifically going after 15-year-olds all the time. It wasn't. He got with her, married her, and stayed with her for a long time. So it's like, I don't know. It's probably not something I would have done. That's for sure. But it was, you can't look at yesterday through today's moral lenses. You know, if you take today's moral lenses off and then look throughout history, there wasn't age limits and stuff like that. You know, medieval times, kings and queens were married at 12 years old, 13 years old, and stuff like that is, you know, was the way of the world then. So through today's moral lenses, yeah, it's not advisable behaviour, but then at the same time, it wasn't the same times. This is today. We've moved on from that. We know differently. Back in Southern America, Christian Southern America, it was part and parcel of the way they lived. You know, people were married at 14, 15, stuff like that, and that was your life partner, because you only lived to 40, 50 if you were lucky. And yeah, it's weird. But yeah, no, Elvis met Priscilla when she was a teenager, younger than 16. And but don't get it wrong, he wasn't an R. Kelly or a Jimmy Savile, but it was still borderline for sure. But from what I've read up on it, it's not what it seems. Fair enough, I can do. Fair enough. If something wasn't right there, then yeah, sweet. But I'm only saying the facts. The facts of what happened was he fell in love with her and married her and stayed with her for years. So I don't think he was prolifically going after 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds and being pervy in that way. I think he genuinely fell in love with a girl. And how old was he anyway? He would have only been fucking 19, something like that, wouldn't he? At the time, if I remember rightly. And he wasn't there. He wasn't there a lot. He was on tour all the time. I think she was staying with his mother. If I remember rightly. I might have that wrong. Please feel free. But anyway, moving on from that. Yeah, I'll get you, spear thrower. I'll get you, spear thrower. I know why you did that. This cigar's dying, by the way. It's on its last legs there. Mohammed stayed with Aisha. Yeah. What's that about? Oh yeah, Jethro Tull, Paul Simon, and oh yeah, fucking Dire Straits, great band. What about ZZ Top? ZZ Top, AC/DC, AC/DC. You know what I mean? About the 70s. Fucking 70s. I'll tell you that now. Right, it's getting on for 12 o'clock, people. 12 o'clock. I reckon I'll call it a day. Really appreciate you tuning in. I'm trying to get this show back on the road, as they say. I'm glad we had a nice little chat about the 70s. And I wish I was around in that decade. Unfortunately, I wasn't. But it is what it is. Got to do your thing. And yeah, I'm going to knock it on the head. I've had a good show, and a good few listeners in, viewers, whatever you call yourselves. I appreciate it as always, and I'll be back next week. I'll do my thing again. I've still got to give another tip of the hat, and I keep doing it, but to Diamond Dan. Without Diamond Dan tonight, this show wouldn't have happened, people, so put your hands together for him. You know, I would have tried my best, but he's made it 100 times fucking easier for me, that's for sure. And remember, people, look up Arthur Conan Doyle, a true Brit, a real pioneer, a real man, you know, man's man. And he did the bizzo when it comes to detective stories and stuff like that. He set the benchmark. He set that benchmark, and you know, you have any sort of fictional detective type stories these days, even to this day, they're always compared to Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is the benchmark. And I'll end it here. But that's my pipe, by the way. Look at that, baby. I didn't do too bad with that, I will say. I've got to send this off tomorrow to my mate. I'm giving this to my mate with some filters, so he can smoke the pipe like me, like a British porn star. Smoke the pipe. Sorry, I'm being crude there. Nah, for real. What's that about my groupies? And night, Luke. Yeah, night, people. Gonna sort a few bits afterwards too. Cheers, Diamond Dan. You got full access to this laptop. I'll leave it open if you want. He's as we speak, making things happen. Like I basically, I've got this thing called, what's it called, screen share or some shit like that. I don't know. But I'm literally watching someone as if they're hacking my laptop. Like all these things are popping up on my screen as I'm sitting there saying goodbye to you, and he's making things. Oh, sorry, I'm yawning. Making things happen. So, bit of a mad one. Like, it's really weird to watch. It's really eerie. I'll pull up the comments on my thing. Yeah, here we go. YouTube. Look, uncaged. Here we go. Bit of a mad one. Oh shit. Here we go. Right. So yeah, where are your groupies? They're in the hot tub waiting for me. There we go. They're waiting for me. Oh, 70s had great cars as well, Spear Thrower. Yeah, they did. Great show. Thank you, Ollie Mac. Thank you, Sky Chantel. Thank you, Robbie Fry. Thank you, Viking Dude. Thank you, Boris. Thank you, Ty Haggis. Thank you, Andrew. Don't forget to feed the antique or you'll have locked in the dungeon. No, I might forget to feed them. Fuck them. Let them rot. Team view. That's it. Team viewer. Yeah, there you go. Cheers, Grumpy Grandad. Yeah, that's what did I say? It was screen share or some shit like that. I don't know. Markham. Cheers, Markham. Cheers, Danny Byrne. Cheers, Alan. Cheers, Spear Thrower. Cheers, Robbie Fry. Cheers, Viking Dude. And I think I've got everyone. Thank you, anyone that tuned in. Doesn't matter who it was. Timothy Ross. And I'll say it, shall I? Shall I get the thing ready? Here we go. We're gonna have the outro. So here's the bit you've all been waiting for. You don't even tune in for my show, really, do you? Let's be honest. You only tune in for the ending. the epic ending that Fonzie prepared back in the day. Listen, love yous all. Ta-ta, darlings.
Riley! Hold on.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States.
What a great honor to be able to be 35th President of the United States of America.